I was messing with things today, and it was messing with things.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Can they hear us?
They can hear us now. Hello, friends and enemies, heroes and villains. Welcome to Epic Realms Presents Off the Pod. It's not a podcast sort of podcast. It's a podcast. Welcome on in, everybody. Welcome in, Raiders, Dungeon Scrawlers, raiding with a party of 56. Hello, Dungeon Scrawlers. I love those guys. Everyone on there has been on this stream as well. Thank you for the shout out right there. Ooh, that's Eric Scott to be. Amazing author. What else is on the
because I know your weakness, Shay Dark Song, and it is hope.
It is hope. That is your weakness. Your weakness is hope. I'm sure there was more to that.
It's true. I hope that was a thing we were gonna do.
Guys, go and check out Dungeon Scrawlers. They're all amazing authors that do amazing things, and we've had so many of them on the podcast. Rhiannon Held's been on the podcast. Eric Scott DeBee's been on the podcast. Eric Scott DeBee's been on Off the Pod. So just all kinds of stuff. Aaron Evans, I think I said Rhiannon Held. We did Game Masters Workshop with some of them, as well as Yang Yang Wang. So these guys are just freaking amazing. Go and check out Dungeon Scrawlers. They're amazing, awesome people. Today, I am joined on Off the Pod by my friend and game designer, the one and only Seppy Yoon from Fight in a Box Games. Did I already say from Fight in a Box Games? Did I already say that?
I don't know if you did, but I love hearing it from you, Nick. Oh my gosh. Thank you for having me on. This is like my 5th appearance in and around your media. I'm very excited about this. I feel very honored. Your guests are always amazing. I usually follow you on Instagram, but I occasionally pop in for the Twitches. So this is exciting.
Someone has the title over me. Octavius is jealous. Somebody's 5 times outrageous.
Octavius, that is a great. Considering Seppy is short for Septus. I have one bettered you twice now.
No, man. Wow, Seppy is short for Septus. Well, there we go.
It is, yeah. And not Septimus, which is the proper way to do it. Septus just means 7 in Latin.
So they say, Pixel says, Seppy deserves it. Sorry, not sorry, Octavius.
Oh my gosh.
You know, if Octavius did tabletop role playing, he'd be on more. He'd be on more, but
we should get him to do it. We should have him come on an adventure for mechanical corners.
There we go.
Yeah, we love mechanical corners. It's amazing.
He's unmodding himself.
No, you need him. He's great.
Unmod, unsubscribe. Welcome in, everybody. Off the Pod is a very special stream. It is kind of formatted a little bit like a podcast, but it's not in any way, shape, or form. It's completely interactive. All of our sound alerts are on, so every time you do any kind of sound alert, I just got my wrist just started vibrating because I got a text message, and I've never had it come through on my wrist. So I'm like, what the heck? So I'm like, why is this on my wrist? But it's
reminding you to be kind. I'm old, Nick. You can't have these surprise jump scares.
Why is the rum guy?
Yeah.
So, it's completely interactive. All the sound alerts, as you can tell, that one just popped up there, are on. You guys can interact with us. All of the topics that we talk about, you can chat about freely. Give your 10 cents. We'll read it out and we'll go over it. It's just a fun, awesome time. We've got some really fun topics for you. 2 of them are kind of in the same realm. The first one, however, is way better than that. And there's a reason that I came up with this. And I brought it up to Seppy's attention. I was like, besides this topic, what do you want to talk about? And he's like, yeah, we'll talk about that and these other things. And I was like, great. So aren't they all in the epic realms? They are all in the epic realms. That's the point of the word, is the epic realms. There's multiple realms. And, board games and Seppy Yoon is in one of them because they're synonymous with one each other.
Oh yeah, and I get to do role playing too. I was very excited about that. Yeah.
Yes.
And we're stepping into the culinary realm with this first topic, Nick.
Yes, we are. The very next topic. Let's just start it off. I'm gonna start the timer. Our first topic, guys, is freaking ice cream. Seppy, you post on social media. You post your ice cream posts. What is that all about? How did that start? Now it's starting out like a podcast interview, but do it in answer.
I go for these ice cream brunches, and an ice cream brunch is really just like an old dude walking an extremely far distance to have like snooty ice cream.
Did you post like a 7 a.m. post of you with ice cream at like 7 a.m. one day?
Yeah. Like,
And I'm
it
like,
feels
I want ice cream for breakfast.
Yes, it's got milk in it. It's got other stuff. Like, it's
Sugar.
cereal. It's low carb cereal.
And it's
Really?
on a cone, right? Usually, sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
waffle cone. It's waffle. So you got waffle and dairy and whatever sugar.
How much eating do you go and do around the cities? Like,
short of being a celiac, a fair amount. Like if they have food, we try to be there. But I don't go over to the Minneapolis side. Super awesome.
All right, so this is definitely not something that you've done because of celiacs.
There are places with gluten-free ice cream cones.
That's true. One of the places that I post a lot from is called Patisserie 46. And it is one of the premier patisseries in the world. I was rated number 3 by
Seppy Yoon.
a National Geographic Travel.
Really?
For best, yes. The guy who used to teach pastries and baked goods for the New York Culinary School ended up coming here to start a patisserie. And the place is incredible. So if you want like really fancy pastries, chocolates, and between Labor Day and Memorial Day, ice cream.
Nice.
So at 7 a.m., I want to get myself a loaf of olive sourdough, and since it's there, of course I'm gonna have salted caramel ice cream. That is gonna be a thing that I'm going to do, and I do that almost every Saturday between those two.
Do you ever buy ice cream for yourself, like just like at your home, put it in your freezer, or is it just out?
No, I brought this because I knew that this is a visual medium. I'm going to make a real recommendation for these. Can you read these?
Blue Bunny loaded bars.
Yes, it's like you normally think of Blue Bunny as being super budget, right? It's sort of like a lowbrow Ben and Jerry's kind of thing. Like, but these bars are not cheap, but they are totally worth it. Like, this bar is almost a religious experience. Yeah, so check out the Blue Bunny loaded series. Like, it's salted caramel in particular I'm extra vulnerable to salted caramel. Of the ice cream flavors, Nick, are you a wanderer amongst flavors? Are you a pioneer of flavors, or are you a settler of flavors? So this are the 3 types of people: pioneers, wanderers, and settlers of ice cream.
Is this like 10 or?
Yeah.
Tell me what you think the difference is between those 3.
Okay, a pioneer is always out trying the newest, weirdest thing on the menu.
Okay.
If it is something that like dairy
grasshopper with freeze-dried grasshoppers, I gotta try.
There's a reason the McFlurry exists. It's for pioneers, right? Okay, that's pioneers. Now, wanderers are people who have a home or a circuit of ice cream that they do, and it might be seasonal, it might be on their moods or whatever it is, and they come back to the same things, traveling in and around. And occasionally it might go out something, but usually they have a route. Okay, and settlers live in 1 or 2 places in the ice cream refrigerator. They are So, and I would like to ask the stream, are you a pioneer of ice cream, a wanderer of ice cream, or a settler of ice cream?
There you go, chat. Answer it up. Where do you lie? I'm going to put myself in a wanderer situation.
You're a wanderer? I found a settler of vanilla at Gen Con this year. I'm like, oh my gosh. My buddy Andrew from the Star Wars, from Coruscant Nights, and all those guys, he is a settler of vanilla, and I'm like, I didn't think that existed, like a settler of vanilla.
That's all Octavius just said. I'm a vanilla of ice cream.
He's a settler of like, oh my gosh, that they exist. Like,
Tales of the Outer Rim says wanderer. Sounds closest. Ooh. Sounds closest.
Yes, Wanderer. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. You are a Wanderer. Okay, then where on your progression through your ice cream journey, where are places that you always go out to, and what are places you always come back to, Nick?
So I don't go again. Celiac. Sadly, I can't go out to places very often to have ice cream, so that's not much of an option
But
for
I'm
me.
talking about flavors.
But for
On your
flavors,
flavor journey, flavor journey,
all
not
of the
the
like the base, all of the basics. When you get the Neapolitan box, like I'll do everything that's in the Neapolitan box. I'll do every single one of those. I don't care which one it is. I'll do
that is a
chocolate, strawberry, vanilla. Those are all great.
that person, those people are on their way to being settlers. The Neapolitan people are, they understand
That's
like
or the
everything
other way
going.
around. That's the first step to being a wanderer.
Oh yes, either way, you could
So I
be
do like those, but like I'll live me a rocky road. I love. Let's put it this way: if it doesn't have nuts in it, I'm gonna be excited to try it.
ooh,
If it doesn't have hard chunks of things, like I'm okay having something that's got chunks of like chocolate candy bars in there. But yeah, so something that's coated like that, that's coated, I'm okay with. But if it's got
okay.
hard pieces of stuff in there, it's like, nah, I'll have it and I'll enjoy it, but I probably won't go out of my way to buy it.
All
With
right, so
the
let's talk
exception of
about.
maybe a pecan, a caramel pecan. Like I like me a caramel pecan.
Ooh,
Like,
nice.
and we just found one that actually the pecans aren't super hard. Like you put it in your mouth and the pecans kind of just melt. And I'm like, oh, this is
Oh,
amazing.
oh, nice.
This
I
is
love
great.
that.
But
So let's talk about why ice cream. Like ice cream uh
this
is
person
all
says
the senses.
somebody says
Oh,
strawberry and lemon, and somebody else says give me a good chocolate and peanut or peanut butter.
ooh, nice. See, those classic pairings, I understand. Like myself, I'm a settler of the valley of chocolate and caramel, right? I will. It's either going to be like a really dark chocolate or a salted caramel, and that
Yeah.
is pretty much in that valley of flavors. That is where
Mm.
I that is where I
Is
have
that
settled.
including toppings? Like, will you get something and put chocolate and caramel with a little salt on
Oh,
top?
oh, absolutely. That yes, yeah. So let's talk about some of those options here. Like, so ice cream is a texture experience from soft serve to like tub ice cream to sundaes, and then plus toppings.
Yeah.
It is a entirely sensory experience, right? With the exception of smell, which it is not like ice cream isn't a strong smell experience, which is different because normally taste and smell are really closely linked.
Right.
I myself have because of sinus infections, have a terrible sense of smell. And I love cold foods and I love being out in the cold. So and I love exploration of textures, right? So here's the question. Another question for you, Nick. Explaining your place in the ice cream nation. Are you a whipped cream person or a marshmallow topping person? Or none?
I like me some marshmallow topping, but I pretty much never do it. Like if we have it, yeah, I'll put it on. But I will go and buy whipped cream. I will put whipped cream on.
Oh,
I
you
will eat
are.
whipped cream out of I will go buy that generic, you know, Cool Whip and I will eat it with a spoon straight out of the tub. Spicy
See, I
Corsair
am.
says chocolate plus cherries plus ice cream equals win. Yes.
Yes. Yes. The chocolate fruit combination. Now that's like, I am like not a fruit dessert or a fruit ice cream person.
You don't like fruit
Uh,
in your ice cream?
no.
Not even. What about bananas? At least bananas.
No, like I understand it's great for other people, and I love that for everybody else. But for me, I'm like a super fruit purist. I want the fruit to be fresh. I eat the fruit the way it is. But as soon as you do anything, unless you're going to make jam out of it, as soon as you do anything else to it, I'm suddenly like, your fruit proximity
So you
is
don't
not
like strawberry
interesting.
ice cream, is what you're saying?
No, not as a flavor. I will do sorbets occasionally
Okay.
when put in front of me,
Is
but
sorbet and gelato are either of those considered ice cream to you?
I do like custard. Yes, I like custard, sorbets, gelato. Those are all in the ice cream family. Yes. And again, it's about a texture thing and like an aftertaste thing. Like a custard has a very specific tang to it that that
It's the
I am eating.
chickens.
It's chickens.
It's
It's
the
chickens.
chickens.
Like I needed to get a little chicken in my cow, like
Right.
chicken cow. Like that is and all that together. And like gelato obviously has gelatin. I'm a vegetarian. I don't do that as often. And, only when somebody just puts it. I'm like, oh. And sometimes gelato doesn't have any gelatin, and you can get away with it.
Right.
That's fine.
Sunstrider wants to know, does anyone have a preference on style of ice cream? Gelato, custard, rolled ice cream, Dippin' Dots, etc., etc.
Oh, see, that person knows. I love Thai rolled ice cream. Thai rolled ice cream. Have you had Thai rolled ice cream?
I haven't even heard of it, but it sounds
Okay.
amazing. It sounds amazing.
It was an ice cream trend. There was one in the cities. Again, in and around your foodstuffs, make sure we don't poison you. But they basically have and then you also have liquid nitrogen ice cream. We'll talk about that too. All right, so in Thai rolled, they have a super cold plate, and they have fresh cream. Okay. And so they pour the fresh cream and then whatever topping that you want on it or plus sugar. And then they make it like ultra thin across the cold plate.
Okay.
And then they
another raid. Woo! We'll let the raid music play. Welcome in, Raiders. Thank you for raiding us. King Iden, welcome on in. King Iden's an amazing, amazing streamer. Lots of fun. He was playing some Dead by Daylight. How was your stream today, King Iden? Welcome on in. We'll give a little shout out for King Iden here. Thank you, Spiced Corsair, for the follow.
Ooh, okay, here we go.
You get that? I'm going to pause the timer real quick while we do the shout out.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
He's doing butt scrunches on TV or on the stream.
Cheek squeezes
Cheek
for
squeezes.
you guys.
Thank you very much for the shout out for King Iden. It was great, wonderful birthday. Happy birthday, King Iden. Perfect timing because it's your birthday. You should have some ice cream. Right? Ice cream? Ice cream for King Iden. Round of ice cream on me for King Iden.
No, we got to get him some ice cream now.
Ice cream. Okay. We're on doing off the pod. Our current topic is ice cream. And
we're talking about Thai rolled ice cream.
Thai rolled ice cream.
So you lay it flat and it's really, really thin. And then you take like an ice scraper for the windshield of your car and you roll like these super thin, dense rolls of ice cream. And then you fill like a cup with them. And then you put toppings on top. It's great. There is a certain something that you get with instant ice creams, like ice creams that weren't ice cream when you walked in, that you do not get in other experiences.
Right.
And the densest of those is probably nitrogen ice cream,
which I've seen on Guys Grocery Games.
Yeah, it's I think Thai rolled is better. Honestly, the little bit of air that gets put in there is really good. But the nitrogen is super dense, and again, avoid hard things that have been cold by nitrogen, and you will bust your teeth. But it's an experience. If you like ice cream for its textures and its different ways, that again, it is so creamy and rich when it was just cream 3 seconds ago,
right?
Or it was eggnog 3 seconds ago. The nitrogen ice cream is going to be started with eggnog.
Oh man, I've been trying to do an eggnog ice cream for years, but I can never get it to work out right. And I'm like, maybe that's it. Nitrogen. That's it.
Yeah,
Curly girl, you're listening. Let's go get some nitrogen, liquid nitrogen. We're gonna liquid nitrogen. Sorry, she's gonna be like, no, we're not. I'm not gonna lose your hands. She knows me well.
Again.
I burn my hands enough on the stove for crying out loud.
That'd be fantastic.
Not to miss Spicy Corsair's message from earlier. What about mixing fresh fruit into ice cream, sherbet, sorbet, gelato, etc.? Or is it still a texture thing if you mix it in, like blender it up?
I think I think if you freshly sliced the fruit and put it on top, then I think it would be okay. I like the crispness of a fresh fruit kind of thing, like apples being whatever. I love a strawberry that has a little bit of bite into it because it's so fresh.
Yeah.
Raspberries and blackberries in particular are like, yeah, they're great. So if those toppings, but as soon as you like, sugar them up and make them a little sad, which is usually how they're like as a topping, then I'm suddenly like, ooh.
Not so much. Yeah. So you want it fresh. You want it fresh. Gotcha.
I'm like a vampire for fruit. I need it to be like fresh. Like, I can still hear the screaming of the strawberries. That's what I need.
So do you have an ice cream maker of your own?
Oh no, God, I would. No. I have to walk 45 minutes in the cold one way to deserve my ice cream. Like, I'm committed to the ice cream brunch. If I made the ice cream at home, it's like, first of all, I'm lactose intolerant. I've got to make it a special occasion. I am paying for the ice cream that I'm eating.
In more than one way. It's like me and the spicy chips. It's like, yep. They pay for it once, and then they get to see me eat the stupid spicy chips, and then the next day they don't get to see it down the other.
Yeah, you're paying for that twice. So dairy and I don't always get along. I mean, but you can't avoid dairy if you go to any gaming convention in Wisconsin, and pizza is fantastic. Ice cream, we're talking about ice cream because it is so amazing. So what is the earliest memory of an ice cream place that you have, Nick?
Root beer floats.
Really? Where were they from? At home or someplace else?
They were an A&W chain restaurant that we had. And it was like a drive-in chain restaurant for A&W root beer floats. And they even had the big A&W bear dude in the front, but the old bear from like the early 80s, not that new one.
Yeah. All right, so for me, I know
or it might be Choco Tacos from old Taco John's, like also way back. The Taco John that had the sombrero and the little short guy with the sombrero.
Yeah, the Choco Taco coming back and forth. Like a Choco Taco, people don't understand. If the Choco Taco had a perfect chain of custody, as in it never thawed out or never got a chance to get over a certain temperature and then get froze again, the crispness of the shell made the Choco Taco just fantastic.
Right.
But if at any time in the chain of custody from its creation to getting into your freezer, if it melted just a little, it became this rubbery, spongy thing.
But it was still delicious. It was still delicious. Just the texture.
It was a sad kind of delicious. But it was definitely still delicious.
Thank you for posting the Fight in a Box links. I am joined by Seppy Yoon, for those that didn't listen, who is one of the head designers and owner of Fight in a Box Games. Go and check them out. I'm also repping merch right here. Repping the merch. Yeah, I had two of these. But I gave one away for a promotion for people. So to help promote Fight in a Box, I was like,
thank you. So I'm gonna have to hook you up more. So those shirts are weird because unlike other companies that want to make money, we only make those shirts once a year, and then we just order the ones that people want. So when you get one, that's the only ones made in that color, and you're probably not gonna see them again. We make them with the accompanying, of course, dress shirts, and so you got a purple one for the purple year.
Yeah. So whoever won that purple one, you've got a limited edition Fight in a Box shirt.
I love that purple again. I want to make it again, but it'll probably be different. So for me, I was raised incredibly Gen X, which means to be raised feral. And my brother was a problem person. Like they used to call it hyperactive, right? That's the old people term for any number of the new stuff.
Anything, any neurodivergence, you were just hyperactive. Yeah,
that's right. That was the thing. And so my brother was never able to have any kind of they did this, and my other brother had all these allergies, and so they didn't get to have sugar or snacks. But by the time my two older brothers beat my parents down, and my parents both returned to the workforce, I could get away with anything. And so I did this thing where I would get a bowl like the size of my head, and then I would cover the bottom with Oreos, and then I would put vanilla ice cream on top, and then on top would be caramel and chocolate, and then I would just sit and I'd watch 3 p.m. cartoons, starting with God knows what, probably Robotech. And I was just like, this is, and then my brother would, of course, go like, we would freak out by the time my parents had, they're doing it.
That is our timer. It's already been 20 minutes. I told you, it goes fast. It goes fast.
Okay, ice cream is dead to us now. All right, fine.
No, I'm gonna continue a little bit just because Octavius will get really angry. He was on the very first off the pod, and I literally muted him. Like, no, we're done with that subject. And he did. He never spends a day.
You deserve better, Octavius. You deserve better. Come to us. We will treat you the way you deserve, Octavius. We will treat you the way you deserve.
And he won't let me live it down. He won't ever let me live it down.
No.
Sunstrider Choco Taco is not a taco. It's an ice cream cone.
It is.
Octavius says I can do frozen yogurt, though. I can do frozen yogurt. So, there we go.
Frozen yogurt's delicious.
Spicy Corsair says there's one down from me at road trip to Seattle talking about A&W root beer restaurants. And somebody asked earlier if we lived in Illinois. I think that was Stryker said that earlier, but I lost it. But I am not. Neither of us are in Illinois, I'm
from Detroit originally, and I spent a lot of time in Chicago.
Okay. So there you go. So you know all about all of that. Tales from the Outer Rim. 'Twas me. Okay, that's who it was.
Oh, Tales.
And so I got to tell you, I got two things. So first, I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to tell a really inappropriate story from the 80s. Inappropriate. It's from my dad. So growing up,
is this on topic? Are we moved to the next topic, or are we?
I want to tell the story because I had planned to tell it, but it went by so fast, and I just got to tell this story. So and it's for those that are going to get upset about naughty stuff. Plug your ears.
Spicy warning, everybody.
So this was
spicy warning.
I'm fired. Thank you for firing me. Thank you for that. You're fired. My dad, my stepdad, and my mom and I moved road trip to Wisconsin with nothing, kind of start our lives fresh because he had given up alcohol. He was an alcoholic for years and drove a Spike It, and it was like his second chance. So we were starting over, and we were on this road trip, and I was young teenager, like 6th grade, 7th grade, mind in the gutter all the time, and we go up to a Dairy Queen. We pull up to a Dairy Queen, and my dad's like, okay, what does everybody want? He gets our orders, and he goes up there, and there's this very attractive young woman making the order, right? And she was the proverbial Dairy Queen. Like, yeah, she was being served. Queen. And so he walks up, and he makes my order, which was probably like a twist cone or a probably like an ice cream, a hot fudge sundae, or maybe a banana split.
Was it an Insta dip?
I don't know. So then he ordered my mom's whatever it was she was getting, probably the same as me, probably like a banana split or something. And then he orders his own. He goes, yeah, and I'd like a peanut butter parfait. And could you hold my nuts, please? And she didn't think about it, and he didn't think about it. I, as a kid, instantly started laughing. And my mom heard me laughing, and she replayed it in her head, what had just been said. And then she started laughing. And my dad comes back with our food, and the girl is back there kind of giggling because she heard me laughing. And my dad
he did not say this intentionally.
He did not say this intentionally. He had no idea he had said it. So he got back in and he handed it to my mom, and my mom can't take her food because she is laughing so damn hard. She's laughing and I'm laughing, and he's like, what? She's like, really? And he's like, what? And she goes,
that's adorable.
You said, can I have a peanut butter parfait, and will you hold my nuts, please? And he paused, and his face went white. Just white. And he looked over at the girl, and she was sitting there like, he realized what he had said, and she was like trying not to laugh, and he was so embarrassed.
Oh, I love that story. That story is adorable.
It is. It's a little naughty, but it's freaking hilarious. So
All right. So one last Dairy Queen. One of the reasons that everybody has calories listed on everything is because Dairy Queen had to divulge exactly how many calories is in a blizzard.
oh wow.
Yeah, like a large
And then
blizzard.
they were like all pissed, like, well, why do we have to do it if nobody else does it? Is that
Yeah, like a large blizzard with Snickers before they had to make some modifications was over 1,500 calories.
that's it? Man. Snickers Blizzard for the win.
1,500 calories. The average human adult male only needs 2,500 calories.
Let's do it. Oh, yeah. All right, so 3 Snicker Blizzards for me and 4 for you, and we're good.
I'll take a small. I'll take a small.
I'll take a small. One meal a day, then.
Oh, I do. That's like food camping again for Dairy Queen. It was the Snickers Blizzard.
Well, now we know if we do this again, we'll just have to do two categories: ice cream and then ice cream. We could probably fill up 40 minutes of ice cream.
No, my God, there's like we'll go from soft serve, we'll go through
right.
Yeah, we'll go custard, we'll go to frozen yogurt.
Usually you pay double for that kind of action cotton.
Usually you do pay double for that kind of action cotton. Oh wow!
Wow, it got spicy.
It did. It did. Thank you, Toasty
my
Toasties.
collar, like, oh my gosh.
He probably didn't even realize what was being said when he played that clip. He probably didn't even know.
All right.
All right.
Am I being a good guest? Am I still
I'm having a good time. I mean, all the people from the 2 raids are still here, so we're doing good.
You scream, I scream, we all scream for
ice cream? For
ice
for
cream.
sorbet. Wait.
For sorbet.
For fake.
Viva la
I actually
sorbet.
just found out. So Costco has ice cream, at their like you can order hot dogs and stuff, and it is so good. I'm like, this is way better.
Can
than
I
for
give
soft
you my
serve,
last?
It's way better than.
Can I give you my thinking of speaking of Costco and some other things? Minnesotans eat more ice cream per capita than all the rest of the United States.
Does that surprise you? Really?
Well, people are like,
it's so easy
cold.
to make in the frozen tundras of
They're
Minnesota.
like, it's cold up there. Do you understand how many dense calories ice cream is? And you don't live in Minnesota if you hate the cold indefinitely. Like,
Wait. Let's take this one further. So, your body, your body has to maintain a certain temperature, right? So
right.
If you eat something hot, your body has to physically drop its temperature to cool it down to digest it.
Right.
On the flip side, when you eat ice cream, your body has to raise its core temperature to digest the ice cream. Therefore, eating ice cream will actually warm you up.
It does. I love ice cream. I go, all right, so Sebastian Joe's has an outdoor fireplace. And so when I go to get ice cream during the winter, I walk 45 minutes to Sebastian Joe's. I sit in front of the fireplace and eat ice cream. It is wonderful.
I'm gonna have ice cream after this show. That's it.
Well, yeah, I just like it's
we
a
just
thing.
we have generic vanilla in the freezer.
And remember, and I was not paid by Blue Bunny, but if anybody knows the Blue Bunny, they're killing it with these in particular.
You just see if you can get a sponsorship. They'll pay you to put a blue bunny in Conquest Princess.
Oh my God, they would. Yeah, that would be the galactic
ice
blue
cream is power. Sorry,
it is actually ice cream is power. I should do a whole expansion about ice cream is power. We'll just do a pets like mini game and the blue bunny will be the ultimate either good guy or bad guy. You'll have to decide.
Right. Or that can be in Mechanical Corners, the blue bunny. And
oh my gosh.
And it's not a bunny at all. It's not a bunny at all. It's a person with an ice cream for a head.
Oh, okay.
So their name is Blue Bunny, but they're ice cream. They're not an actual bunny, and that would throw everybody off. They're like a spy.
That's a good idea. And you are a citizen of Mechanical Corners. You are a thrice citizen of Mechanical Corners, or a quadruple citizen of? How many times have you visited Mechanical Corners now, Nick?
3,
4,
3,
4,
2 or
3.
3. It's either
3.
2 or 3.
It's 3.
There's the one we did.
Yeah.
Me and you.
And then you did 2 with the authors, right?
And then I did 1 with the authors.
Okay.
But I think
There's one more in there too, I'm pretty sure.
There might just be 2.
Okay,
I think
so
there's just us and then the author.
as a citizen of Mechanical Corners, Tower Games, I'm proud to announce that the 3rd Mayor Waffles calendar will be available this holiday season for people to get themselves a copy of the Mayor Waffles calendar. It is fantastic, and this year might be the most exceptional. I will not have announced the theme yet, but you should definitely look for it. It's fantastic and free, and it labels all the gaming conventions that are either major or in the Midwest.
Oh, that's awesome. So anybody in the Minnesota area, the Tri-State
Yeah.
Twin Cities, can go to Tower Games and check that out.
Yeah,
And
I
if you're
think we
not,
do
then too
some-
bad. If you're not, then you'll have to email Seppy your sadness for not being able to get one of these calendars and be like, Seppy, I want a calendar and I'm in Seattle. I'm in
That has
California.
happened.
I'm in
That has
Florida.
happened.
Send
Yeah.
me a calendar. I want one of these free. I'll pay for shipping, right? You guys can pay for shipping, and Seppy might ship you a calendar as long as you pay for the shipping. Yeah.
On the break, I will go get the previous 2 Mayor Waffles calendars, and you can see how fantastic they are. And then we will continue this discussion. So that is, of course, coming up. We have our big message about Conquest Princess that we're going to post that tomorrow. So
Well,
that's
so
exciting.
Stay tuned for
All right.
that.
All right. What is our second topic?
Our
Are we
second
ready?
topic is diversity in gaming, and I want you to kind of start us off in this because you have a very special place in your life. We talked about it on the podcast and where you kind of stand on diversity in gaming because you fit a couple rules, right?
Oh yeah. So I'm like I check as many boxes as one human could possibly, or near so. Like practically a senior citizen, multiracial, gay, neurodivergent, veteran. Like I hit all of the check all the boxes.
Check all the
like,
boxes.
check all the boxes for that kind of stuff. I like to explain to folks, if you know what happened to beer in our lifetime, Nick, or you knew what happened to food in our lifetime, diversity in gaming is going to have that same bonus, right? You remember the 80s? We had A&W and we had, if we were lucky, we had a Baskin Robbins and so forth and whatnot. Do you remember when people used to think sushi was weird?
Yes.
And that Mexican was Taco Bell? Do you remember?
No, I remember.
Oh.
No, because see, here's the thing. My mom we lived in Colorado for a while, and my mom was a chef.
That's the birthplace of all of the chain restaurants is Colorado.
My mom worked for really well-known Mexican restaurants, authentic Mexican restaurants in Colorado growing up. So for me, I can't agree to that. But I know what you're talking about. I do know you're.
But you know your experience is different, right?
Right.
For the rest of us trapped in the Midwest, we were like, oh, like unless you were going to Chicago, or any of the other big cities, you were not going to find
Taco John's, Taco Bell. Well, Taco John's was early on.
Like Korean was super weird. Like you'd have to go to like Koreatown or one of the areas to get.
Hello, tiny Irish Viking. Welcome on in.
Woo! So that same bonus of flavor, and you were here when the microbrews got everywhere, right?
Yes.
More people were brewing. In that same way, more voices making things that we can all enjoy is the reason I think people should embrace diversity in gaming. It's like going on a food expedition for your brain.
Right.
Like every food show from Anthony Bourdain, bless him, had maybe for what he did for food shows, right?
Okay, I can go with that.
It has travel in it. And one of the awesome things about living in the era that we live in now, and I think it's sort of important to take a positive moment to think about the beneficial things of being in now, because we live in exciting times. It's often easy to get pulled down by any of the negative or dark things of the day to day. Is this sort of the world has been brought to us on a plate,
right?
People's world experiences and so forth and whatnot. Yeah, and that's great, and that can happen for gaming as well.
That's awesome. But where do you think that leads us as far as, you know, the future for diversity in gaming?
Number one, I really want to see more female voices. They're 51% of the populace, and they're actually, after the pandemic, 50% of gamers are women, or women identified, which is great. But disproportionately, the number of people who are making these games or titles are focused on some other areas. But there's a reason that the breakout titles are not like gender specific or gender traditional. They tend to be more neutral, right? Like Wingspan's a perfect example for that one, right? Yeah. That doesn't seem like a boy title or a girl title to my brain, right?
No.
Yeah, you know, it's a nature all time. Like Boop is a breakout title, right? It's for everybody. There's a thing in gaming where meta helps fuel or hyper accelerate crowdfunding, and unfortunately, on that platform, it's 30% more expensive to reach women. So your feed on Meta versus Holly's feed on Meta, you might have seen this game 14 times, where Holly will never see it because the cost per click to reach her feed is way too high. Right?
Yeah.
And so that means women have this invisible curtain around content. And there's a reason that I lost that. There's
You're
a reason
rolling
that
dice over there, rolling dice.
Yeah, I know. The stuff just zipped across my, I don't know what I did. There's a reason that you see more games in places like Target and Barnes and Noble, which are the predominant gender of shoppers is skewed towards women.
Okay.
Right?
Somebody asks, why is it more expensive on Meta to reach women?
Number one, there are more products that target just women than products that go for everybody.
Okay, so it's a matter of of filling the you have a pie, and for women that pie is already kind of full, so it costs more.
Oh, it gets worse.
You have to push everybody else out of the way to get in there.
Right,
so
right. Like there are multi-million-dollar people who have a lot of money to say, hey, look at my whatever product for women. Then, and number two, women also are in control of more household discretionary spending. So any general item that's for your household that would not be also gets pushed into their channel. So we're talking like dish detergent, towels, like anything
any household goods.
Any household goods. So they have there's more women goods made, and there's more household goods made, and all of those women are more likely to be in charge of spending money on.
So people target those audiences to sell those products.
Right.
Because you can specify male or female as for who you target.
That's right. And that was a real problem during the Princess campaign. The breakthrough keywords for women gamers is cozy. If you can get the algorithms to pick up a game because it is cozy, cozy will actually sneak into content for women. That's because awesome. they go and search that. But you play Conquest Princess, it's not cozy.
No.
It's for everybody, right? It's all nerds, no matter what, what flavor of the gender spectrum you are, and it is for all of us, right? But it is not cozy. And so that's hard. That's a hard space. But did I answer the question successfully? Like, why is diversity important?
And makes sense.
Why is it more expensive? Those are the two main reasons.
Yeah. You did answer. You did.
You turned into a podcast and you asked me a question.
But it's not a podcast. It's like a conversation, and I'm like, is he done? Does he have more to say on this topic?
No, I'm waiting for the next question. I'm only answering questions. I'm in the question answering mode now.
Nobody in chat has asked a question.
Oh no, I made them all go to sleep.
And that's okay. That's okay.
Seppy's ASMR hour.
Yes. in gaming when it comes to diversity and you know I'm not a good spokesperson. Unlike you, I'm the exact opposite. I'm the worst. I am a straight white male Anglo-Saxon dude.
You have celiac, so you're dietarily divergent.
Yeah.
It doesn't really count.
However, Curly Girl Holly, my wife, amazing human being. You will agree more than anyone else on this planet.
I love Holly.
She worked in a comic book store. She worked in a gaming store for many years. She was the only one there for many years and got to see this over and over again and got to see the negative connotations that happened with like things like gatekeeping in the community. And that was just
let's talk about Holly and how important she is and how important this is to spreading diversity. Okay.
Spicy Corsair did ask another question.
Okay.
Did I miss it?
All right, you look at the question. I'll answer this other thing.
Seppy wants to know if you can send them a calendar. I'm too broke to pay attention, and I can't afford shipping.
We'll figure it out. So people are they're more reluctant to go into a space where they don't feel represented. So Holly being at the game store that she was opened that experience up to every woman who walked in. Right. She's not representative of every woman, but it gave that place a chance to seem welcoming. This is particularly important for game nights and any store or any kind of stuff. Like people want to see themselves represented in a space, and when they do, they feel like that space can include them. Otherwise, they feel often that it's not for them, or they're threatened, or it takes more steps to get past into trust and to have a good time and feel safe.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Totally.
There's a lot of generalizations in there. I don't want to oversimplify it, but this is why representation and diversity go together. When you can see yourself in a space, you are more likely to include yourself in that space. And so for other folks, if people are gay, multiracial senior citizens, they see me and go, oh, I am a gay, multiracial senior citizen. I want to join that guy's cause. Yeah, no, but Mayor Waffle's calendar, really good. All right. I love the topic of diversity in gaming. I don't want to preach. So if people have questions, I like to focus on the positives, number one, and let people know about things that they might not have realized in our natural environment, right? For me, I went to an all-boys Catholic high school. It also made me gay, but it wasn't weird, and I was in the Navy. It wasn't weird for me to be in an environment that was all male, right?
Right.
It wasn't. But then I didn't like.
I mean, I'm assuming right because I wasn't there, but yes.
Yeah, and so, but and then I went to gay bars. Like these are all things that you're like, oh, these are environments. But then but gaming is a space for everybody, and so people should see themselves and feel safe and all that kind of stuff. So if you look around and you do not see people who aren't exactly like you, try to find some and invite them in,
right?
Because and
I know a lot of us, and I know we're mostly talking about like tabletop games, but that goes for video games too. There's a lot of gatekeeping in video games, and a lot of
and some of that gay people don't even realize that they're either participating in or that it's there, right? I love the fact that in my lifetime, gatekeeping became like, it's just bad taste. It's just not, it's not good. You're closing off the hobby or the experience to the people who want to come in, right?
Right.
Like being snobby about something because a person is not as far along in your journey, how it happens all across the cultures of people, right? And yeah, and eliminating in gaming just makes gaming stronger.
I agree. Roddy Mama popped in and says, as a newer female gamer, I have been lucky to have been included into many different types of games, from first-person shooters to mini golf, flat-screen games, and I've been welcomed by all genders. So
that's amazing. Awesome. I love to hear it. It's working. That's
It is.
That's what it means.
It
I
is.
love to hear positive stories.
I used to always tell people, I used to say that, like, especially on the tabletop role playing front and like Magic the Gathering and stuff like that. There was a person on, I think it was Instagram. Um, it might have been early on TikTok. They posted about the whole, gatekeeping thing. They were mostly focused on Magic the Gathering, and I was like, this hit me so hard because I couldn't believe that the genre of people that grew up being excluded from things in high school, being picked on for being geeks and nerds, being pushed out because they didn't fit the status quo, would now be the ones doing that. Like, this was a community founded on being the people that got treated like that and trying to be more open to everybody and being accepting of everybody, because that's not what they were. And now there's some people from this community that are doing that to others that want to come in. It's like, no, don't.
That's I don't think they realize that. And then, but people emulate the things that happened to them. And so they had finally got the opportunity to be, and it's not good. People shouldn't do it. But it makes bad human math sense, if that makes sense. You're like, oh, okay, I see why. Please don't do this. That's not. If somebody took a moment to let them know that they were behaving like the people who exclude them, usually they flip around.
Right. Spicy Corsair says, are there any things that we need to be aware of as players or GMs, etc., to ensure that we're being inclusive?
Oh, that's great. Number one, I love a good session zero. A good session zero to allow people to understand what your campaign is in and about is great. And also to make sure that if you have themes, I've been running the same campaign for 10 years. And my players, I think at this point, that wasn't always the case, but my players are all like straight white men in and around between my age and your age and around that kind of stuff. But I let them know. I'm like, okay, this is going to explore themes. Like, we have tragic lesbian love stories. We have like ostracism from the church. And I let people know the themes and the explorations that are going to be in the adventures. And so a person could go, okay, that makes sense, instead of having that shock moment where, and that's an unwelcome surprise. You don't want to figure this out about this person that you invited to your campaign, like mid-session.
Right.
Like, they have no life experience. And so this kind of thing is going to give them. So I would say that, number one. Number two, if you explore any type of science fiction, you realize what's great about science fiction traditionally from a literary theory sense is you take one thing about the universe and you change it. Like the Metamorphosis by Kafka is a perfect example. Well, let's turn the guy into a cockroach. And then you use that to comment on the human condition. For diversity in role-playing games, you can use this same situation, just like Star Trek did, to illuminate like conditions of people that people aren't aware of. So there's, I guess the other thing is there's an opportunity for deeper storytelling and education in role-playing because of that.
I'm going to share a link with you, Spicy Corsair, right here in the chat. Everybody can use it. And this is just one of many. You can Google search RPG consent form. And this is an amazing tool because people that aren't comfortable because people feel confronted. So if you're like, is there anything you're uncomfortable with? Oh, no, I'm fine. Sometimes they might not even realize that they have triggers or they have issues or they have whatever. So you can just be like, here's the form. Would you fill this out before you role play? Or even, any kind of thing. Be like, and you can adjust it if you're playing board games or whatever. You can adjust it for whatever you need and be like, and that's just one example. So you can Google RPG consent form and find one that works for you, and your players can tell you. And I have heard multiple times that they didn't even realize that they had a trigger till they were filling out the form, and then they're like, oh yeah, this is a thing. Oh yeah, that is something I shouldn't do. Yeah.
Bear talks about this in and around that kinds of stuff. Also, fundamental thing to understand is single gender groups versus multi-gender groups will behave differently. I've seen women role-playing groups come up with solutions that a male role-playing groups would never, and they have a different communication style, especially regionally.
Yes.
Right? My family's like, I'm one of 3 sons, and our family comes from Boston or Busan, depending on who you ask. And so we are an interrupty, talk over each other, loud group. Well, most women will not interrupt other people as a communication style. It's not, at least not in Minnesota and some other places. And understand that just because somebody is following their version of politeness doesn't mean they have less to contribute or that you should have done that. Like, understanding the difference of communication styles based on like cultural is a thing that's sort of important for embracing diversity.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's a lot of women that I know, if they get cut off while they're in their whatever for their game or whatever it is, that will shut them down for X number of minutes in the campaign or indefinitely. But like, I'm not interested in talking over anyone else, and I feel like it's disrespectful.
Right.
And so that can also be in your consent form.
Yeah.
Like, hey, know that this person will, if this happens to them, it's not gonna work for them.
Right. Yeah. Some things aren't comfortable for people, and some things people don't like, and that doesn't just go into topics. That can go into the way they act, like you said, talking over other people. Like, some people will be like, that was super rude.
For the people who are here, did they like ice cream or did they like diversity? Like,
right.
Rainbow sherbet. We went from rainbow sherbet to rainbows. Oh my God. You're taking us on a whole journey today,
We're
Nick.
all over the place. We're all over the place. Then that's the point of this. It's to be a little all over the place and cover multiple topics and have fun and just chat.
We got to a very serious one. Like, like I tried to start with all the positive, fun stuff in and around it. Yeah.
Octavia says, I don't like diversity in ice cream.
Neither. I'm a settler. I want chocolate. Or I want caramel.
You don't want that very special grasshopper ice cream with real grasshopper pieces?
I'm allergic to insects. That would kill me.
You're allergic to everything, Seppy. What can you eat?
You are telling me, the guy who brings his own food into J-Con, what can you eat? Come on now.
But I only have one thing. And it's just gluten. It's just my fault. It's not my fault that gluten's in everything.
So let's trade like the number of food items. I just have food allergies. You have just one that applies to everything. Like, which one is worse, Nick? Which one is worse?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, God, not being able to eat insects. What am I gonna do? Jesus.
Can't, like, oh my God. Yeah, somebody will try to feed me like a fire ant spicy chocolate, and that'll be the end of Seppy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
sad.
I'm gonna bring that to share with everybody.
This has no insects in it.
Celiac ego exists. I mean, what? There's no celiac ego. Spicy Corsair was responding to the checklist that I sent them. In there it says relationships, and you can mark different things: green box, yellow box, red box, and those are each like yes, maybe a little bit, and no, don't do this at all. And one of the things on there that says under sex, it's like fade to black, then explicit between PCs and NPCs, and just be between PCs. And they asked, what does it mean, fade to black? I'm under the assumption that it's like, all right, you both go into the room together and fade to black, and it's the innuendo. Yes. It happens back there. There's no detail. Yes. You use your own imagination. What happens?
Every 80s sitcom or romantic situation on television.
Yeah.
Right? There's a kiss, and then they go off, and then
fade to black, and then they come back, and they're wearing the same thing, but their hair's a little messed up.
Yeah, right.
The next morning, Octavia says, "Blue bunny now insect free."
It wasn't before, Octavius, but
what
now
is it in the how allergies with insects, like, does that include like say spiders. They're not technically insects.
Yeah,
And
no,
how do you know
that-
which insects?
Oh my God, that's hysterical that you would mention that. So a spider bite hurts, right? Okay, but if I get bit by a mosquito, it is this big for like at least 6 weeks.
Wow.
It's serious.
But it's
This is
all
why-
insects.
Oh
So
my God.
your allergy to insects is very diverse. You'll accept all insects in your allergy is what you're saying. Doesn't matter if it's a ladybug or a bumblebee or a
So the spiders, I can't eat them because I also have a shellfish and seafood allergy. All right. Why do I have all these? Is because I was raised feral in the shitty white burbs of Detroit and raved in industrial parks. Like I've collected like enough heavy metals that people should not breathe in the gas of me being cremated when I die. Like you will get lead poisoning. It is.
and military stuff too. Didn't that have something to do
Yeah,
with it?
I was
Yeah.
in naval nuclear power. Like they're going to seal me into something for like, yeah, no one, it's very dangerous. I am, yeah. And so my body's just like,
Not bad.
yeah. Yeah, no, this is not uncommon to people who are exposed to a lot of like industrial whatever at an early age. Yeah. Not good.
Minnesota, mosquitoes are unofficial state bird. That is true.
They are. That's why I do all my walking in the cold months. Like this is my walking season, Nick. Like before the snows have completely encased the ground, like, and it's like 20 degrees. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like I did 3 hours of walking on Friday.
Wow. So what you're saying is you got your step goal in. You hit your step goal.
Yeah, I did it.
All right, guys. For everybody that is here, I also want to mention go and check out fightingabox.com. Go and check that out. Go and find all of the things. Get some of their board games. I am very partial to Mouse Cheese Cat Cucumber, and that's probably that's my favorite one. Although I first was introduced with End of the Line, which I don't think you guys have anymore. Do you guys have End of the Line anymore?
No, it's sold out.
So they'll be reprinting. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna.
We're gonna do a new edition next year.
Awesome, and processing. I have it, but I haven't gotten time to play it yet, and I'm really excited to play processing.
We should.
I love the idea.
We should do that on. We should do that on a stream.
Yeah,
I want Octavius to come join us. I want Mark to come join us.
How are we gonna play it on stream?
I'll TTS that.
You have it on TTS? Okay.
We can get it. We can make that happen. I have all the files, right? I printed the game. Like we can make a TTS of that happen. I would love that as a rule. Like processing, you know that I'm running that in a convention if you're at the convention. Like I was in Game Hole like last weekend or whatever in Madison, and they could hear me.
That's not the first time they've come up to you. Like, we can hear you across your voice carries.
That got said 8 times. Like that's a long convention, and they're like, "You are at the very. I can hear you all the way at the other." Yes, that's it. But processing, yeah. Oh, hey, I got a copy of processing again. So now
I love it. It. So the little guy has he's like got the cuts, like the cuts of beef.
Yeah, it's really good.
So
it's very simple, but like Mouse Cheese Cat Cucumber, the rules are simple, but the strategy is kind of deep.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. You guys make great games. I love all your guys' games.
Oh, thank you so much. You've helped sell a lot of them, Nick.
I did.
We appreciate you.
I did.
Absolutely.
So guys, we're gonna go and take a quick break. So go and check out the Fight in the Box website, see what they have, maybe buy all the things. But we will be back after this break. We're gonna get our own refills, use the restroom, stretch our legs, and we will be right back for the next category, which is the evolution of gaming. We're going to be talking about other tabletop games, role-playing games, board games, maybe little video games, the evolution of gaming right after the break. So we'll see you guys in a little bit. I'm also going to run an ad, so stick around for that, and we'll see you in about 15 minutes. And we're back! We are back from break, everybody. Thanks for hanging out and sticking around during the break. I appreciate you all being here. and joining us for our conversations, being part of it, participating, asking questions, making statements, all of that. And even if we don't get to everybody's posts all the time, we'll try and go back. And if we miss something, just ask again, just say it again, and we'll get to it eventually, I'm sure. So thank you so much. And again, I want to say thank you to Dungeon Scrawlers for the raid. We love those guys over at Dungeon Scrawlers. Go and give them a follow. Check them out. They're amazing, amazing people, every single one of them. And of course, our good friend, King Iden IV. Go and check him out as well. He was doing some Dead by Daylight today, and he does a lot of Warhammer on his stream, Warhammer video gaming on his stream. So go and check out King Iden for all of the ridiculous shenanigans that he does over there. So I am joined again, like I said, I am joined by Fight in the Box creator Seppy Yoon. Well, this is the party horn. It just goes on forever. Seppy, you're gonna be holding that pose for a while. Yeah, so we're celebrating. We're celebrating.
When you stream Slay the Spire, I will come and kibitz. I'll be your guest for improve your Spire performance.
It's still going. It's still going.
I know. I know.
It's still going.
So I got that for me, which is nice.
Which is nice. You guys echo for me, which is nice. Welcome on Midwest Miniature Guy. Seppi, you know Midwest Miniature Guy, right?
Yeah.
He
Absolutely.
He just popped in. Orange Panda popped in. Hello, Orange Panda. Thank you so much.
Fantastic people.
Thank you, everybody that is in here, for being in here and hanging out with us. We're going to be talking about the evolution of gaming, and we're going to be talking mostly tabletop gaming, board games, tabletop role playing, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're not going to talk about video games and how that also evolves, because I mean, it's a lot of it's the same, really. When you think about the community and the type of people that have played those over the years, a lot of those are kind of, sometimes the same people. So let's I want to, in your opinion, in the recent say 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, what do you think is...
You want because a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
Yar!
Yar!
Pirate. What do you think is one of the things, and I'm going to answer it before you answer yours, what you think is one of the biggest things that brought tabletop gaming, or just gaming in general, to the mainstream? In my opinion, I think it's it's YouTube, Geek and Sundry, Will Wheaton.
I love you that you
role.
went to a media something. That speaks to your soul, Nick.
It does.
And I love that. And also, I think that has everything to do where the blockade is for indie game people. Because we talked about in our diversity segment on how different people do not get to see gaming content. And Utah gave us examples of people who gave us gaming content that went to everybody.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So we are experiencing that obviously now still with Critical Role. Critical Role is bringing role-playing games. Yeah. Started with Dungeons and Dragons, but bringing role-playing games to more people than ever before.
Right.
Okay.
Big Bang Theory. Yeah. Big Bang Theory is, that's another good one.
Yes. Like things where people can be exposed to something where they feel safe in their car or in their house. We're like, hey, maybe that's for me. You cannot downplay the significance of change is usually fueled by new people or new technology.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're talking about evolution of gaming, we really need to start with the latest influx, and that is all the people who either discovered or rediscovered gaming because of the dark time of us all being locked, right?
They said that right after they said Big Bang Theory. They said Geek and Sundry, Critical Role, Big Bang Theory, and then a pandemic.
Yeah.
Exactly what they said.
Yes. Like so many people were looking for ways to connect with others, and role-playing over like the internet, definitely a thing. And then experiencing games and solo games and other types of gaming that you could do from your computer.
I didn't start the timer. Let me start the timer.
What?
I guess we're just gonna have an extra 5-10 minutes.
Oh my gosh. So there's a reason that BGA got sold for as much money as it did, and it's evaluated at based on the size of its audience, and that's Board Game Arena for folks who don't know. and there's a reason that it spawned other things like Tabletopia. There's a reason why TTS is such a big deal. And obviously I'm a fan
Sovereignty.
of the sovereignty.
Sovereignty, guys, sovereignty.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the sovereignty people, making it even more approachable to more people.
And guys, if you haven't played Sovereignty, go and check it out. Seppy's might have a code that you can use to get some days. I have a code that you can use. You have a code?
Yes.
What's your code?
So yeah, check it out. So you can play it. Sovereignty allows you to do all the board games that we might be talking about from your phone, tablet, or computer, and talk to each other. And if somebody doesn't have like a voice something, like a Discord or a Zoom, whatever, it has built-in voice as well. But the big deal about Sovereignty, different than all the rest of these platforms, is it's a combination of a 3D environment plus rules enforcement. So TTS, Tabletopia, the rules enforcement is not great, but Sovereignty, every rule is obeyed and so forth and
followed.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the deal. So when we talk about,
and there's the link for people that want it in there.
That's a great.
You can. So I think Fight Fans is for you, right? Your Fight Fans.
Yes, ours is Fight Fans.
Yours is Fight Fans. Mine is Epic Realms. If you want a code for some free days, if you haven't already used those codes, there you go.
30 days. It's great. It's also a good way to learn or teach games in case you miss a beat on something. It's also a really fast way. Sovereignty is a really fast way to set up and play some games. So it can be a lot more than just, oh, I want to play a game online. You can, I don't own this game. I want to try it out with my friends. Like expensive titles like All In, Isle of Cats, or Planet Unknown is a good example for that kind of stuff. Now, none of the Fight in a Box games, because until Princess, all the Fight in a Box games were pretty cheap. End of line,
maybe a little bit more.
Maybe more, but it's a bigger box. So when we talk about evolution in gaming, you have to look at what caused such an explosion in tabletop previous to these media ones that you're talking about. And the answer to that, and some of the channels that you were discussing, is crowdfunding and print technology. Okay?
Yeah.
So we had an economic downturn in 2008, right? The Great Recession.
Right. The latest one.
Yeah, that was the latest one.
We're not talking about 1920 or any of those. 1970, 1960, 70, whatever.
Yeah, and I've gone through a few of them. They haven't been great. 1970 was the other one, a recession, and then of course. All right, but that being said, do you remember what technology fueled the financial bubble?
No.
Okay, so it was.
Do I even know what the financial bubble means? No.
Oh, okay. So 2008, the economy dropped out because the financial bubble burst. And one of the technologies, I like talking about this, one of the technologies that was a booming industry in post-dot-com second bubble, because we've had a lot of these going on, was the print industry for printing credit card offers and loan offers. People like junk mail went crazy and was a huge industry. Well, after the bubble burst, print dropped. Like people who print things in the United States, I think their attrition rate went down to like 25% of the companies that did that in the United States survived.
Wow.
Okay. So guess where all those printing presses went?
Overseas?
They did. They all went to China. Wow. So you had the combination of these presses, and because even the people who survived this, they went to smaller, more updated technology presses, okay, that would do dynamic things and so forth and whatnot. So all of these board games that you guys saw printed in the teens of our new millennia, I say new, it's we're 20 plus years in. I remember the 70s. The rest of you, like I remember the 70s. All right, so all this technology that ended up going overseas, and that's when we saw like crowdfunding plus the availability of cheap labor and printing. Those two things collided to bring us the boom of tabletop gaming. Somewhat RPGs, and I almost think RPGs is next on our evolutionary chart. as far as crowdfunding goes for tabletop games, there's a strong argument that it's peaked. But one area that I think people can still do and be exciting is like Zine Quest and indie RPGs.
Yeah, and those are getting huge right now.
There are more, like, people are experiencing, like, is there something more than Dungeons and Dragons? There are more people who are professional GMs than any time ever in my lifetime. That's so exciting. GMing, like at Tower Games, they give a GMing workshop. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can come and they'll teach you tips and tricks to be better at. And so people.
So what
are
you're saying is
classes.
they got that idea from me, is what you're saying, because
because everything starts with you.
It does.
Yeah,
I started the Game Masters Workshop right here like 2 years ago. I don't. You were on an episode. What are you saying?
I know. I love that episode. I was
one of your five.
Yes, I was with famous people like Patrick Leader and Jeff Tidwell. I was just happy to be there. I'm like, hey, look at me. So when you talk about where are things going next, you have to think about like who's doing innovative things. There's a strong argument by some people on the internet that like queer furry RPGs are setting like the bar for what like the possibilities of role playing is going. And that's for an example, like people who are doing innovative things. Like there's a guy who wrote an RPG, an autobiographical RPG where you can play his life. And so there's journaling RPGs, there's art RPGs, and those can be done solo. And if folks have not tried this out, the flavor of a solo RPG is that it leaves behind an artifact usually. So it's like a journaling something, it's an experience something, so that you're thinking about your actions, you're recording it, and you're given something. Like 1,000-Year-Old Vampire is a perfect example of this. And it's great if you ever wanted that. I think I should write more. I feel like I want to like do a diary. Well, would you rather do a diary as yourself, or would you rather do a diary as a 1,000-Year-Old Vampire?
Nice.
Right?
Curly Girl says knitting RPGs. There's a knitting RPGs.
Yes, right. And so if there is a just like the early days of Steam, we're having chances for little voices to find other audiences and people having an appetite for that, right?
Somebody else says, and it eliminates scheduling issues.
Yeah, adult schedules is the most dangerous thing about that will kill your campaign more than a TPK ever will. Adult schedules are the worst.
Midwest Mini Guy goes, solo RPGs. When I was a kid, we called that playing with action figures. Not necessarily wrong. Not necessarily. Legos, you know.
Yeah, or drawing pictures on the wall, like any of that.
Yeah,
like for me, that was pictographs. Pictographs when I was hunting out woolly mammoths. These kinds of things were just common for when I grew up. So when you talk about evolution of gaming, look at where is technology gonna go next.
Right.
Okay. More people. We're seeing the shift already in major media like social media, like TikTok has changed fundamentally within the last few months with TikTok shot content. It has weirdly become the world's quickest, most direct QVC kind of experience. Right? And somebody called this, and this is not me, the crapification of social media. When you go to a social media forum, like Blue Skies experienced this, like where it's about people connecting other people with ideas and content. And eventually, as they try to monetize it, it becomes more craptified as it goes along, right?
Right.
And so, but I think, with YouTube Shorts, like short form content will also evolve. And how that connects people with like gaming content and other kinds of stuff is an area to look for the evolution of gaming.
Yeah.
Right. Electronics and apps coming down in price will have their inclusion. Like people are like a little weird about app included games or app driven games, but Dark Tower Return to Dark Tower is a real success. It has a lot of things going for it, and its app is totally fantastic. But on the other side is manufacturing collectibles will also affect gaming. Like, have you gotten a chance to play Kingdom Death Monster? So Chip Theory and Kingdom Death.
I'm sadly so far away on the recent gaming products out there, just because.
No, this is not that recent, but it's a signature item for it. So Kingdom Death Monster, guess how much that game is all in? Board game is all in.
God, what kind of, like, how big is the game?
Oh, it's big.
It's big.
It's big.
$100.
It's a $6,000 board game. It's a boss battler, miniature-based boss battler storytelling game.
For $6,000?
Yeah, and in Critical Role, they featured the Grom out of it as a bad guy recently.
Who's got
$6,000? It's a $6,000 board game. Okay,
you can buy decent cars for that price.
You can. Now that's if you play the full retail price. If you got the all-in price during one of the crowd funds, it was a measly $1,700.
Oh, just $1,700. Midwest Mini Guy says no, but I've painted enough of their models for clients. It's freaking huge.
They're huge, right? And if you are going to shell out thousands of dollars, you should definitely have Midwest Mini Guy paint them all up for
That's
you.
right. That's right.
You should that's a fantastic idea. You can raise your set to that next level. But this idea of board games to be collectible and RPGs to be collectible, folks are either going to we're going to have a weird mental thing in and around the shelf of shame. Okay. Board gamers call it the shelf of shame, which is games they have not played, right? But simultaneously, collectors might never play a thing. It's okay if they own it. They will never unseal it.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it might be valuable one day.
Right. Or you're like, okay, I really want to support this voice, or I really like this IP, or I really like this person. It has a place for me in my collection, but gamers feel bad, or particularly tabletop gamers feel bad if for some reason it doesn't hit the table.
Yep.
Now, that
hits me hard right there.
As a publisher, I know there's no better testament than when somebody gives me table time. Adult time is so precious, and getting multiple adults to get their time to line up enough to play a game is so insane. And that's why conventions are such a big deal. And then we'll talk about the evolution of gaming and conventions there too. If we have time. I don't know if we'll have time, but that is the most precious thing that somebody gets. When an adult chooses to use their discretionary time, the rare time they have just for themselves for your title, that is a BFD. Okay. But simultaneously, people have the shelf of shame. Games that are played are games that other people will then want to play and buy. And so, the indies. And so there's some back and forth. So for collectibles. Now, the next point is gaming conventions. There's never been more gaming conventions, and the gaming conventions have never been as big a deal as they are. So what it ends up happening is, because adult schedules are this hard thing and people want to enjoy this thing, they give themselves an excuse where they can push everything else down. Jeff Tidball wrote why online conventions don't work. But what he really was writing at that time was, this is the fundamentals of why a convention does work. And you should go check out that blog. It's a little bit old, but you should definitely check it out.
Was it on his website or on?
I think so. I think it's on jefftibbles.com. And the idea that you can set aside a time that is just for gaming for you to go do this thing is so powerful for an adult schedule, that this is one of the reasons that gaming conventions have become such a thing, right? And if you went to Gen Con this past year, you realize that those people went to shop. it was crazy. Like everybody I ran into who had a booth sold out or near sold out, including Jeff. Like people came to shop, and I think that phenomenon of conventions evolving is going to be a force for the evolution of gaming, particularly for people, small people like myself. It is really hard for me to be able to give the kind of dollars or attention to break the media barrier to get people to pay attention to my titles. But as you know, I give good demo. Right?
Yeah.
If you sign up for one of my events at one of the conventions, I pride myself on being your best event, or trying to be, at least, right? And so you can make fans that way. So small indie publishers going to these events, small, medium, and large, making a personal connection for people is also going to be a force on how gaming is changing. Because if you're an independent publisher, you're trying to innovate and become like interesting enough that your fan base is large enough that they are self-perpetuating interest.
Right.
And that's really hard in an adult world where there's a lot of shiny.
Where do you think the crossover came from? And I did just post, going back, I did just post that link from Jeff Tidball. It's from 2020. Why virtual tabletop conventions fail and how organizers can fix it.
Right. But the real argument for that is the magic. If you want to understand why gaming conventions are fantastic, that truth is in that article and buried in there. You should read it just for that. It's fantastic.
Midwest Mini Guy said, I was just at Gamehole Con in Madison last weekend, and it was a blast. Played 4 TTRPGs that I've never played before and bought one of them, Old Gods of the Appalachia. It was amazing. It's one of the reasons I'm a vendor at Con of the North. I'm running my first game there next year, too. Oh, nice.
Oh, we can see you at Con of the North. This is exciting.
I might, I've been thinking about doing something Epic Realms related at Con of the North, and I may or may not force Seppy to be part of it. So
we should team up, and you should play Fight in a Box's never played, but always enjoyed Battle Beast game. Do you remember? Are you old enough to remember Battle Beast?
I know the name, but I don't.
It's a toy from the 80s. And I wrote a miniatures game in and around it, and I only run it at conventions. It is fantastic.
Nice.
I love a good con game. That is also, we could have like talking about what makes conventions magical is like an entire topic in and around that. But to answer the question of,
but what is the conventions? What is the evolution of gaming as far as conventions are concerned?
You got to look at business models. Obviously, True Dungeon is a statement. It is basically a role-playing experience plus an escape room. And that people run that multiple times at Gen Con, and that's, I think it's like around or over $200 a run now.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it has its own set of collectibles in and around it. It also has a circuit. Did you know that there's a True Dungeon circuit?
No.
Okay, so the Premier Adventure premieres at Gen Con every year.
Okay.
Well, last year's Premier Adventure then goes to, I'm not sure which convention it is, but then it goes to Origins, and then it goes to Gamehole. And so they keep on trailing off. So you can go experience the last X number of years adventures if you do the whole circuit. Starting Gen Con is the premier one that just came out this year. You can play all the old adventures.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and the circuit of all these guys. So it is all like, it's a weird, I created this game based on two things that I love, which is of course, LARPing, RPGs, and adding an escape room element to it, and then only having that experience able at conventions.
Right. Well, and even conventions just 20 years ago, how many conventions were there?
20 years ago, I went to them. Let me think about this.
Like we had, a few of the cores, but now we have, now there's there's a convention in every state, sometimes 5 or 6 conventions, and that's just gaming, gaming and RPG, and because not all of them are just one type. It's not just like Comic-Con. There's like 30 Comic-Con, and a third of of Comic-Con is games and
Right.
board games and tabletop games and role-playing games. And
Absolutely.
you go to what how old is Game Con?
10th year.
Yeah, it's like 10 years old. Con of the North.
And that seems like a new
It does. It feels like a new
Yeah.
convention, and it's
Yeah.
not. Or what is it? Berserk Con, I think, is the one up in what's the one up in Duluth?
That
Minnesota.
was up in Duluth. I don't think they've run a Berserk Con in a while.
But yeah, there's all of these conventions, and
I love that you know that. That's amazing.
every
Nick.
every state has their own little conventions, whether they're big conventions or little conventions, and
Yeah.
they didn't exist years ago. And without those, Seppy, tell me, you as a because you're not Fantasy Flight Games, right?
No.
So for you, if there were no conventions, how do you think Fight in the Box would be doing?
I don't think we would exist. Our fans either come from media things like you or conventions. That's where they come from. We have not gotten like Mouse, Cheese, Cat, Cucumber, and Conquest Princess finally rated the attention of the board game media people. They're like, these titles are good, you should try them out. Like,
Right.
But before that, we were too small or too weird to get their attention. We're finally getting to the place where board game media people are like, oh, I should check this out.
Yeah, Fight in the Box games. Yeah, they've been around for a while. Where have I been? Where have you been, guys? Where have you been? Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
get with the program. Fight in
Yeah,
the Box
but
games.
Yeah, you should definitely. But as we're talking about evolution of games, this media barrier, technologies that are coming up, and what is succeeding in gaming right now, and the growth of like Magic now has like a circuit of conventions, right? There's a reason, and people's appetite to explore this stuff together in again, for all the reasons that Jeff Tipple said in his 2020 blog post, like why this is magical. I see this holding up still.
And there's nowhere to go but up. There's like especially
No,
conventions.
you can either just go like this, or you can.
No, you can get better. It can go up. It can go up.
It can go up, but it can also just not, and then it can also go.
But I think that depends on you. Here's the question,
Yes.
and I'm going to start the timer for the next timer.
What's the next topic?
The next topic is potluck. It's whatever the F we want to talk about. Whatever we want to talk about, Seppy. Just whatever it happens to be. But I want to ask you, and it's a little bit, and I already forgot what I was going to say because I got distracted. You asked me what it was, and I was like, oh, potluck. And now I'm like, what was it?
We were talking about gaming conventions and the evolution, and you're like, where would you be? Like, does that help you remember?
Well, we were talking about like the future, and because you were like, it can go flat or it can go straight.
Yeah.
Do you Yeah, I don't know. I'm still gonna start the timer.
Let's set the timer.
Do you think that? Oh, I remember what it is. Do you think that there is a problem with the flooding of the market per se, as far as gaming goes, and games?
No, I think there's twice as many gamers as ever, and there aren't twice as many games. The deal is, the number of media hours that people are experiencing did not go proportional, and the access to that is not proportional to the number of games and number of gamers.
Yeah.
We talked about half of gamers don't get to see game media.
Right.
So in one way you're correct. The number of people pushing dollars into it is gone up, but the number of people is disproportionately larger. But the way media works, where all those extra people are, and that's why gaming conventions, and that's why like independent and small media and content creators, right?
Right.
You got to go someplace and try to reach the people that you cannot reach other ways.
I'm always curious because for me, because I'm seeing it from the point of view of as I am a consumer and I am one consumer and I can only do so much.
Right.
Right? I can only play so many board games. I can only
Correct.
play so many tabletop role playing games. So
Correct.
from my point of view, it looks like there's too much. There is too much. But you as a creator is like there are all of these people and there's not all of these games. There's more games, but there's not more games per capita of the number of players. So you're seeing it from a different point of view than me as the consumer.
All right. So people don't like feeling like they're missing out. And that feeling of overwhelmed, oh, I missed that title or whatever it is. Instead of going like, you don't go, again, back to food analogies, you don't go out to eat going, oh, look at all this food. No, you go, hey, that sounds really good tonight. I'm going to go do that. Or let's go try this new place. And then suddenly it'll help you relax.
That's not true. Right? Some people are like overwhelmed with food choices.
They are like executive dysfunction. Yeah, that's real. Right? Like I am a settler in other dishes as well. When I go to places, I order the same thing that I ordered the last time I was there. I understand that. But I still like to go to new places when like I'm in new cities.
What's your go-to? What's your go-to food?
My go-to food, Mexican is usually always very friendly to me because I'm a vegetarian and I have all these other food problems, right?
Right.
If I kill the cheese on it, like brunch, all brunch foods, like brunch. Yeah. As a homosexual,
brunch bad. You're like brunch. I love
brunch. No, brunch is the most amazing thing. If I
eggs, see eggs, guys. Back to eggs. Are you allergic to eggs?
No, I love it.
There we go. Eggs, chickens. There we go.
It's all about chickens. So having people feel like even you've been in or around the industry, you and Holly for a while now, right?
Correct.
Even trying to support all your friends on a regular basis seems like, hey, right, I bought this game to help blah, and then I haven't played it. Am I a bad friend or am I a good friend? Like nobody wants those complicated feelings. Right. It's like when you buy produce at the grocery store because you're like, I need to eat more spinach, and then you didn't eat the spinach.
You didn't eat the spinach and it went bad. Yeah.
Right. But like
that's when you have chickens, you just feed it to your chickens. That's
yeah, I see. Good. So you found a solution for that. There's also a secondary market. Board games are like music or like other things where you're like, oh, you're not only competing with what's coming out right now, you're also competing with people's library of experiences forever. Right?
Yeah.
Like people are still making classical music, but guess what? Right?
Yeah.
Bach. Like, right? Like Chopin, like people are making like still there's a deal in and around that. But in no way, shape, or form is Settlers of Catan like Mozart. It is not Mozart. Yeah, we have yet to see our perfect board game. As an art form, board games are getting better. Okay. The games that are popular aren't necessarily the best games. And for the most people, they're just the ones that start people on their board game journey, right? People, because it is a shared experience, finding your right group also determines how far on the journey that you're able to go, right? Collectors are gravitating towards games that you can solo play so they can have fun with their collection more. Yeah. Right. And that's one of the reasons why
and then other people don't have to touch them. Don't touch my game. Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
You could experience a lot of things, right? So when you're thinking about, okay, is there too many games? You're really thinking about where am I with my journey with the hobby, right? Am I maxing out? Right? Do I need to take a break? Is it okay? Like, why am I getting this game if I'm not playing these other games? Is a question that a person, a certain degree around the hobby eventually has to ask themselves, right?
Right.
Okay. And that's good. Like there's things that end up happening. It is okay to not get the same feeling from something that you used to get. The new feeling could be just as good, but different. And the new feeling could be not as good, and it is time for you to be done. Right?
Right.
Like humans need to evolve. You are allowed to change the thing. And too many people, in my opinion, too many people blame the hobby for changing when it is just the natural stage of evolution for that person.
Right.
Right? They remember when they are 14 and what it was like to run around a convention in a public library screaming, I killed Satan, and how they felt elated. That's a real thing that happened to me, by the way. It's amazing.
To you? Was that you? Were you the one saying that?
Oh no, I've never been that happy in my whole life, Nick. If I've ever reached that level of elation, yeah. But at 50, they're like, hey, why doesn't that spark that same kind of joy? Well, you experience things differently, and opening yourself to your changes in yourself and how you like things. For examples, I would not eat olives or tomatoes when I was a kid. I would not eat them in my 20s or 30s.
With the fox or with socks.
Yeah, right. But now that I'm past my 40s, I'm like, these are pretty good. Like, and some of that obviously is, your brain chemistry changing, your body changing, being new experiences, so that kinds of stuff. But people should allow themselves to have that as well. Okay. Also taking a break. I took a break from gaming in the 90s. Yeah. And that helped me come back. And now I have nothing but poor life choices.
So you talked a little bit about, you didn't specifically say nostalgia, but I want to say nostalgia as far as like the older games. What is a game that when you see it, you get nostalgia immediately? And it doesn't matter how old it is.
Dungeons and Dragons. I don't care.
Is there like a specific book where you see it and you're like, oh, that book?
Well, sentimentality, like the first Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook is magical. That thing told an entire story.
Okay.
Right. For folks, you've seen it done and redone. Oh, I was supposed to get the Waffles calendar for the break. Between topics, I will go run and get it. Yeah. So our 20-minute topic, of course, right now is there too many games?
No, that was the last topic.
Oh.
We're on potluck right now. We're on potluck.
That was our potluck question.
Our potluck is whatever. Our potluck can change. It can change constantly.
Okay.
It's whatever.
Okay.
That's why I've been bringing up other things too. That's why I brought up the nostalgia thing.
Yeah. Fireball Island, Crossbows and Catapults is getting a revamp right now. Robo Rally had one coming out. There's a lot of place for, again, like, why do you buy a game? Why does it need to be in my collection? Why does it need to, what feeling does it give me? Right. Or this game was good before. What is the evolution of gaming going to do? Like, I hate to tell you this, but the new Crossbows and Catapults has no rubber bands in it.
People will hurt themselves?
Can you believe that? It has no rubber bands.
I can. For multiple reasons. There are multiple reasons I can see them making that decision.
But do you remember putting as many rubber bands as possible in your crossbow and see if you could like take out somebody's eye? Like
I got in trouble in school because I was building my own.
Oh my God. So
I was designing it. I was tearing apart pens. Like when they took all the things away, I'm like, I'm going to tear apart this, the clicky pen, tearing it apart and using the spring to make like a, yeah.
Okay. So, Detroit public schools are terrible. We had something called a millage. Do you know what a millage is?
No.
It's when you let the people vote on whether or not they want to fund the schools, and they never did. Okay. But before all that massive defunding of public education in the Metro Detroit area, they had shop classes. Those got canceled. Guess why, Nick?
People were hurting each other. They were making weapons.
They did. This is why my parents sent me to the all-boy Catholic high school. One of the reasons is in shop class, they made a crossbow and shot the security guard. with a screwdriver because they would not make an actual bolt. I'm like, if you went to the point of making why would you shoot a screwdriver? But they did.
Wow.
Yeah, like,
Going back to the
That's the
nostalgia thing.
That's
'Cause
nostalgia.
we were in an antique store. And I about lost my stuff. We walked by. Do you remember that Pac-Man had a board game?
Yes.
I had that. That was one of my, and the jaw would drop out and you collect the marbles and go around. And I saw they had it for sale and I was like, oh, my childhood. This was the board game, the Pac-Man board game. And I really wanted to buy it, but it was like $100.
No, yeah. It's just like there are certain movies that you cannot go back to. And the argument movie that I'm having more and more often with folks is The Last Starfighter watchable?
No.
It is not. Alex Rogan, people keep on saying yes. What they should update, though, is Thundar the Barbarian.
Lady Hawk.
Well, Lady Hawk's okay. But Thundar the Barbarian.
Okay. Princess Bride?
Oh, I don't think you can touch the Princess Bride.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That is not true. There is one instance that you could touch the Princess Bride in a remake.
Okay, good. Which one is it?
Muppets.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I would love a Muppet Princess Bride.
I would love a Muppet Princess Bride. Now the question is which one?
Did you just come up with that idea, or like?
No, me and the Blind GM talk about it all. We always talk about Muppet Princess Bride.
If
you could cast Muppet Princess Bride, who would be the one human actor that would stay in there that you wouldn't swap out for a Muppet?
Deadpool.
Deadpool's not in the Princess Bride.
Yes, he is. He's with Fred Savage. No, I let Fred Savage be. I would like Fred Savage play the grandpa.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Have Fred Savage play the grandpa.
You can't do that.
Yeah, good. I can see that. That would be cool.
It would be cool, but not to the
because of course you'd have to use a new actor to play a role.
I think it would have to be Buttercup.
Buttercup would have to be you wouldn't want Buttercup to be Miss Piggy?
No, I think it's patronizing to women. And I think the only person being real in the story you could tell the story in a new and interesting way. If Buttercup, who doesn't have autonomy or is heartbroken, if she's the real person, like the Muppet Christmas Carol, and she is telling the story in all seriousness, like takes the Muppets seriously,
like they're real people,
like Charlize Theron as the only human in the Muppet Princess Bride. Like I could see that. No, I would want the opportunity to tell the story in a way that adds something to the story.
Do you have any Muppets that you would have play very specific roles? Like obviously, like Sweetums would have to play Andre's character because it's Sweetums.
Evil Dead Ash, like Puppet Ash. I would definitely want Puppet.
He's
Ash.
not a Muppet. You have to pick Muppets from the cast of the Muppets.
I have Deadpool. And...
Jesus Christ, Seppy. You once made fun of me and told me that you were going to take my geek card away because I didn't watch a certain thing. And I'm like, you don't know who the Muppets are? That's it, Seppy. That's it. I'm taking your geek credit. Where you either give me my card back or I'm taking yours away.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows and what's on the other side? I know the Muppets, Nick.
Okay. Apparently Deadpool is a Muppet and Ashy Slashy, who is the Rolana Halo says some of my favorite board games as a kid incorporated 90s technology and board games, i.e. Mall Madness and games that had VHSs with it. I don't feel like I see a lot of combo board games with technology now unless I'm not necessarily aware of them. Well, except for maybe the Weave.
Obviously Dark Tower, Return to Dark Tower has that in spades. Since we're so inundated with technology, people are less excited about bringing it. But you might see apps as a form of it. Yeah, I would definitely, if you're interested in one that involves technology well, Return to the Dark Tower does a really great job. The app runs the game on a tablet. It's great. It has the story elements, the music, everything, and then it interacts with the tower itself to do all the tower things that it's going to do. Yeah, the reason that you do not see it as much is people want to play board games to give themselves a moment away from technology. We spend a lot of time with screen time.
Right.
A lot of time for screen time. And the attraction for board gaming is time away from that. And it's the attraction for why parents do this with the kids and so forth and whatnot, right? So for family gamers, I know some of our fans occasionally, their spouses might say, do we need another board game? Like, because they remember growing up and they had the 8 cardinal board games, right?
Yeah.
You know, and they were not stepping out of that.
What are
right?
the 8? What are the 8? Besides
Monopoly, Scrabble, Clue, Risk, right? And then chess. Then the other 3 are optional depending on where you are. If you consider card games part of it, then you have Uno.
Okay.
Right? Life and Sorry.
Okay.
Or it's either Sorry or Shoots and Ladders, right? They remember this was just, I have a new house. Somebody gave me this game now.
Not Boggle.
No, the word games. You
said Scrabble though. That's a word game.
That's right. If you are serious about word games, you have Scrabble. If you're less serious, then you have Boggle. You'd usually, it was a thing, right? Yeah, absolutely. That what I would say.
Of those 8, which one's the best? Which one's the best? And which one's the worst?
The one that makes the most money is Monopoly still. So it is the best and worst simultaneously.
But the best to play, like which of those 8 are your like favorite? Like, I'll still sit down and play this if somebody.
Legacy Risk is legit.
Okay.
The legacy version of that. Star Wars Risk is just Queen's Gambit. If you did not know, Star Wars Risk is just Queen's Gambit, and I love Queen's Gambit. Let's see. Scrabble is a legitimate game. If you want to see a game that includes women, especially online, the online Scrabble community is very women friendly.
Yeah.
So
Trivial Pursuit was one of the top 8 for us. Trivial
that's
Pursuit.
Yeah, that's a very 80s question. Yeah, that's a very 80s answer, Nick. Yes, Trivial Pursuit.
Trivial Pursuit.
Oh my gosh, Trivial Pursuit is definitely a thing. Bar Trivia replaced the need for Trivial Pursuit.
It did.
Right. Yes, of those games, I still like chess. But I was captain of my chess team.
Of course you were.
Never had a chance. I never had a chance. It's true.
Rolanda Halo says Monopoly always turned into stealing and violence in our house.
So many people have a negative board game experience because of the violent Monopoly story.
Right.
It's a real deal. Move and play is a hard roll and move is a hard mechanism to do just because of people's experience with Monopoly.
Yeah. Dan Cook said it best. Where'd you get the pink 50s, Grandma?
And everybody had their own home rules that broke the game.
Right.
You always see
and they all thought that those were the real rules until they came across another household. That's not a rule.
And then you always hear hardcore Monopoly people say, Monopoly's a good game if you play by the rules. And it's like, if those rules are so great, why does everybody have alternate versions of the rules? But it's the deal. So we've done 4 topics. Are we at the end of all things? Where are we in this journey together?
We're at. If you want to keep going, we could just hit the timer and go on potluck again.
Well, all right. If that's what you do, or you pick a topic.
No. So tell us about Fight in the Box Games. Tell us about what you do. tell us about where people can find you, and tell us what you've got coming on the horizon.
Oh my gosh, that's so nice to talk about. So we are in the middle of the production cycle for Conquest Princess. Conquest Princess, we launched at the end of May. It was a crowdfund. We did it on GameFund. You can still late pledge for it. It is 8 years. Have we talked about the 8-year history of Conquest Princess, Nick?
Yes, when we play tested Conquest Princess on stream.
Yeah.
Go ahead and say it again.
No, like let's talk about early versions of Conquest Princess, like mechanics that are no longer in the game. So it went through 9 total restarts to make the game happen. Okay. And the first version was a set collection area control game that was very mean. And you had an MFK mechanic for your final solution set to see if you won.
I did not know that.
You did. So my business partner Bob, who owns Tower Games, loved the first version, but old gamers will play 2.5 hours to get to a punchline, right? We will do this. It is more natural to us. Like, this is one of the reasons I know gaming is improving. Like, you need to get to it in 45 minutes. And so now the latest version of Conquest Princess is 50 minutes, maybe an hour. It is a co-op bag builder. So we went from set collection, area control, mean girl to cooperative bag builder in 8 years.
Wow.
That is the journey that we went on. Now, in Conquest Princess, you, of course, are the members of the Tiara, the Temporal Intergalactic Armed Response Agency. Now, that was in the very first version. The members of Tiara were the Fashion Police faction in the original set collection game.
Okay.
So the Tiara and that organization evolved with the various versions of the game as it went along. And so that was very exciting. And so Mouse, Cheese, Cat, Cucumber, I wrote with the Yang brothers, and they came back to help with this latest version of Conquest Princess. And I'm glad they did. So it is my space epic. It is my real, like, it might be our masterpiece. If you like that type of game, which is a co-op or solo game, and you are interested in unusual space themes like Barbarella or Zardoz, or Sailor Moon, or giant robots, there's something for you here. And the level of Easter eggs in this particular title, I've outdone myself. You played End of the Line. It is all Easter eggs. Like, Conquest Princess is a fun mix of all these different things. And it goes down not only to the surface level of references, but deep down into the mechanisms of the encounters.
Right.
And super proud of that. That is crazy. Of course, we had to overdo it. It has a prequel comic book called Princess Zero, because you understand if you have a giant robot has a dark past. Like, did you watch Robotech as a kid?
A little bit. It wasn't as a kid. I watched it as a teenage, in my 20s actually, because all of my friends wanted to role play Robotech, and I had no clue what they were talking about.
Okay.
And then they all forced me to sit down and watch Robotech. So
you remember the giant fortress actually turns into a giant robot?
Yes.
And then do you remember that the whole deal of them chasing after the giant robot fortress is because it has a dark past?
I do not remember that.
Yeah, well, all giant robots have a dark past. Like, they all have a giant past. And so Princess Zero, if you have a chance, it is we did a motion comic version with a full voice cast from people that you might know in and around our stuff. I'd have people check that out.
Seppy didn't ask me to do a voice in that, just saying. Anyhow.
Oh, would you like a role in our next thing, Nick?
Okay, sounds good.
We would be happy to give you a role in our next thing. All people have to do is ask. And if they're one of our friends, they get a role. That's just generally how it works. We'll talk to Mark to make sure that you get a role in our next deal. Yes. So in that cycle right now, if you've been following us on social media, you can see time lapses of our creative director coloring in his own line art for the fashion items in Conquest Princess Fashion is Power. That's a common thing. You can see concept drawings, basically how the art and the gameplay came together is a common thing for our media. Okay. The game itself, the big announcements comes tomorrow. I won't spoil any of that kinds of stuff, but the amount of replayability for this and the amount of story that you get is as much as you would expect from the people who made Mouse Cheese Cat Cucumber. And of course, Mouse Cheese Cat Cucumber is the most overproduced $13.50 in the history of gaming.
And Lady the Fae is in here. Welcome in, Lady the Fae, as well. Seppy Yoon knows Lady the Fae because he play tested Conquest Princess with us on stream with Lady the Fae.
Yeah, it was so good.
And I'm not going to brag, but I'm pretty sure it was that stream that put you guys at completing your goals. I'm not bragging, but I'm pretty sure that was what got you your last 5 to 10 people. That
it was a real deal. like Blue Monday push. You were all part of that whole media cycle. And thank you so much for that. It was a real nail biter. We had all that. You remember we had all that unfortunate stuff happen in and around that stuff.
Yeah.
And so to combat that hate that we experienced, the big announcement tomorrow will talk about how we're going to take the next level and embrace love.
Yes.
So that's so the big announcement.
And I do love the fact that you overcame all those a-holes. And I'm going to say that officially. They were a-holes. This isn't Seppy's words. This is mine. Those guys were a-holes. Seppy didn't say it. You say Epic Rome said that those guys were a-holes. Seppy didn't say
it. People were mean, and they weren't nice about stuff.
No.
And it wasn't good. You
still overcame and conquered.
I like the idea that
conquested that.
Like racists and homophobes didn't win. That is the most important thing about Conquest Princess is racists and homophobes did not win. Or maybe it's the second most thing. First thing is it's an incredible game. It is a space opera of epic proportion.
With stompy robots and fashion is power.
Stompy robots and fashion is power.
You've got that one of the best lines in gaming. Fashion is power.
Fashion is power.
Yeah, give a lot. Power.
Oh, yeah, that's exciting. The going through the componentry of a game is really exciting. It's kind of daunting. We ran into an issue with the squishy sparkly that we're trying to resolve right now. There's extra considerations when you add glitter to things.
Space herpes, Renaissance Festival herpes, whatever herpes it is. That's what it is. For me, it was Renaissance herpes. Because once you get it on you, you don't get rid of it. I got glittered one year. I got glittered every year at Renaissance Festival. But when I get glittered, it would be like Renaissance Festival, I'm working out there. Okay, it's done. And then for the next 6 months, where is this glitter coming from?
Yeah, you'll be on your cheek. Like you just came out of the shower and you happen to use the towel that you used the day that you clean and the glitter. Yeah. Glitter never dies.
It never dies.
Yeah, it's like being fabulous. It just goes on forever.
Nice. Guys, you can go and check out Seppy at fightingabox.com, Instagram.com/fightingabox. He was talking about those videos where the artist, you get the time-lapse videos. I love those. I hate to say it, but I don't. Those are some of my favorite videos to watch.
They are so good. Mark is so talented, and seeing the art come to life is glorious. I have a question for you, Nick.
Yes, and you said you, Nick. Sorry, it's my oldest joke in the book.
You as an Unsullied, how do I mean? We've had a resurgence in the last year for people trending and discovering the Hedgehog Hop.
Yes,
and can you point out in like media culture or whatever this shift? Like we love the Hedgehog Hop. The Hedgehog Hop is a fantastic game, but either people are more accepting of a theme that also has a certain depth of play, or hedgehogs that are different than the other art are catching people's attention. Why do you think this game is got even its legs are picking up from where it was?
I couldn't say, because I don't probably know as much information as you as far as like what you might have done recently to push it or to sell it or to say whatever about it. But yeah, the art is different. It's a little bit different than other hedgehog things. But also, here's the other thing. Hedgehogs as pets are way bigger now than they were, say, 5 years ago.
Oh, do you think that's it? Because I asked people, like, would you rather be squirrels trying to survive winter or dancing hedgehogs? And people go, hey, let's do dancing hedgehogs. Whereas before, the other like, what is that? Why are those hedgehogs dancing?
And I mean, and everybody hates squirrels. Nobody wants the squirrels to survive the winter. They want the squirrels to die in the winter so they don't have to deal with them all summer long.
What you don't realize.
I'm looking over my shoulder to see if my dog hears me say the word squirrel. So.
Oh, Squirrel Holla is real. You understand when the squirrel gets vanquished, it just fights evil in another dimension.
We were in a haunted house where girls were putting glitter on people, and this dude was crying about it. Nobody wants. Glitter.
Oh, glitter tears. Oh, I'm gonna call my next board game Glitter Tears.
That should just be a thing in Conquest Princess. Glitter tears.
Glitter tears. The glitter bombs. Yeah. So figuring out we're working on the light kit. Have you seen this yet?
I've seen you post about them, and I know you mentioned it before. But
yeah, we're working on the light kit. That's a big deal for this week, and these are pretty fantastic. Yeah, and so we're in and around that level of componentry. Yeah, the squishy and sparkly has been more of a problem than I would have liked. We're gonna put squishy goo cubes in there and glitter filled power cubes, but it's hard. Like
memory foam. Memory foam.
Yeah, you think that like these things are common enough, but for a small short run of these objects, like they got to get glitter hazmat suits out. They got to do all this stuff to make glitter happen in components.
Wow.
So this is my glitter question to you. The 2008 purple glitter dice from Chessex are a collector's item for hundreds of dollars a set. Why do you think that is, Nick?
Are they rare?
They are now. That is the first clip. They had the.
So they can only guess that they were rare, or something happened where people were getting rid of them for some stupid reason. Like there's a magic card that's obnoxiously, like it was a common, but it's super expensive because part of the card's component was you had to rip it up and throw it up in the air, and whatever it landed on. Like it's more rare because of that. So maybe there's a certain thing about it. So somebody in chat says it's because of illegal glitter.
It is 100%. After that year, they were ordered to discontinue the use of the metal fiber that they used for that glitter. And what made that metal fiber illegal is it's the exact same metal that they use to foil currency, like the euro and the $100 bill.
Oh.
So that became a controlled substance in 2008. So if
you want to forge money, you need to get some of these dice and melt them down and take the glitter out.
Well, they control that substance now, but people who are dice connoisseurs, dice goblins and collectors, right? They say you can tell that sparkle is inherently different than there's a reason they chose that glitter. And so that purple, that glitter that year is rare. because dice collectors like it. It looks different, and they can't make it anymore. Flat out, they cannot make it anymore. So if you can find in your dice collection, if you have a Chessex 2008 purple glitter die, go see if it's a legit one, and then you too can have like found gaming gold.
I am the exact opposite of a dice goblin. I'm like, I only need one set of dice. As long as I have enough, I don't care.
Well, dice jail, you've always got to have enough for dice jail, dice prison. You know, when the dice fail you. I would like to know how
everybody but me in our friend group is like, oh, I need more dice. Oh, another set of dice. I'm like, why do you need another set of dice? What happened to the other sets of dice you had?
Oh my god!
And they're all like, but you need more. I'm like, no, I'm the only one. I'm the only one. I'm alone in this world.
Oh my god! I have dice that I've used since the 70s that are now just spheres because I've used them so long in the plastic they've
rounded.
They've rounded out. Like, so yeah, so that's definitely a thing. I would like to ask the stream of the role players in the stream which believe in the power of dice jails and dice prisons, like if that's something they would invest
they
in.
are on timeouts. That's the first thing said. They're on timeouts. Octavia says even I have like 15 sets of dice and he doesn't even really play much.
It's because they're easy. Like at gaming conventions, you can see at least 7 dice vendors. There's so many people who want to be dice vendors at these big conventions that they cap the number of dice vendors who are allowed to have places. Right?
I bought a set of dice to give away on stream for last year's subathon. Because I was like, well, I'll buy them. I'm like,
and you can have dice.
Part of me is like, I should just give out some of my extra ones that I have because I don't need them.
Then you should sign them like these are dice played by Nick.
I should just get custom Epic Rums dice made. That's what I should do.
You could do that.
Then I have to
that's
mail
always
them
fun.
Out.
No.
Cool.
Fan appreciation, Nick. Come on, we can do this.
I mean, I'm already mailing out stickers, which you can get using channel points right here on stream.
Oh, that's cool. So like there are dice now that are hundreds of dollars, right? Or even more.
Right.
Okay. There's a dice company that makes there was a dice company that set up a secret booth at one of the PAX Unplugs for their high rollers.
I remember that.
And
I
if
remember
you
did a whole TikTok about it.
Yeah, if they spent $5,000 with this company or had a 5K more or whatever, they were allowed to come in and they were served drinks and look at the precious dice set. Like that's a real deal. You can make it.
We should have had a whole that should have been a topic. Gaming dice should have been a topic for us.
Oh,
we're gonna have to do this next time.
Do we have to do this next time? We can do it next time. I love this. This is super fun. But understanding people want to enjoy the hobby and role playing. Honestly, you don't need a lot of money to spend to enjoy role playing. No. You need somebody needs to own the books. You don't have to, and you need a piece of paper and one set of dice, right?
According to chat. According to chat, you need 20 sets of dice.
Maybe the chat's right and you're wrong, Nick.
Bentley just goes, Seppy returning for the 6th time, confirmed. Poor Octavius. Octavius, God damn it.
I would love to be back, and I would love that topic. So gamers want to spend money on the hobby and the thing that they're doing, and dice is one of the things that a person can do, right? And you can either collect them, you can give them away, you can punish them, you can do any of these number of things to the dice, and that is and they're always making new dice, new ways, and exciting something. And and dice sell themselves because people know, right?
Right. They're like, hey, dice, and I have a problem. I have a problem, so I need to buy dice. I have a problem.
Or
I have a mental illness, and I need to buy another a 20th set of dice. And it's a mental illness. It's a mental illness.
And I forgot to bring dice, so I need to grab some. Or I'm playing 40K. and I suddenly need more six-sided than
And you just
fit in a
borrow
bucket.
someone's. You just borrow them. You don't buy.
Nick,
You don't need to buy more.
Nick, you're strange in this. The stream is right. You are the one who's got some sort of hang up about these dice.
And you don't need a dice tower. Just keep rolling on the table. Keep it on the table. Just keep it there on the table right where you need to go.
A dice tower is fun. Bling.
You don't need a tower. You're just taking up table space for all the cool shit.
Dice towers could be cool. I like a dice tower. Yeah. I would like to know from the chat, what is the weirdest dice accessory that somebody on chat owns?
The weirdest dice accessory, guys. There you go. Go. Somebody said, I love my dice tower. I need my dice tray. Just roll it on the table. I had one friend, while they're answering that, your weirdest dice accessory, guys, throw it in chat.
Weirdest dice accessory.
I want to mention, I had a friend who, every time he rolled the dice, it didn't matter how big the table was or where he rolled, his 20-sided dice would end up on the floor 20 feet away. Every time. Freaking I'm like, just how do you, here's the table, clink, you're done. Not, Hulk smash 3 yards away.
All right, so it doesn't matter what universe it is, and I'm documented for being on the D6 Generation sidecast of 2 years of D&D play as Pyrex Starfinder.
Pyrex Starfinder, yeah.
A Pyrex Starfinder. They noted my dice rolling being so tragic, and this even is in virtual areas. Like, I will play like games with my buddies, and they're like, hey, Seppy, why don't you take a chance? Or we'll be cooperatively working, like, hey, let's take a chance. There's a 50% chance that we will succeed. And I look at them, I'm like, you mean we're going to fail? And they're like, it's 50% chance. I'm like, we're going to fail. And we invariably always do. If there's a 50% chance, fail.
Right.
I'm just going to fail. Yeah. I like XCOM. Everything that happens in XCOM happens in my real life. Like, oh, I've got a 95% chance to shoot this alien. Fail.
Somebody says, I have a UV flashlight for my glow-in-the-dark dice.
Do you have the invisible dice, or do you have the ones that you charge up so that they glow in the dark? I love the invisible dice that you have to use the special light to show the numbers to show up.
This person says, I've gone dice shopping while on a cruise to Japan, so I have a giant die 20 snow globe from Guam.
That's amazing.
Dice Tower is the strangest thing I own. I have a larger than average die 20, though.
Ooh, do like that.
I have a larger than average die 20 as well.
What? Whoa.
I know the blind GM has a larger than average die 20, but that's because he's the blind GM.
That helps Bear. That Bear needs that Bear needs the large.
For those that don't know, the blind GM's nickname is Bear. I didn't know you knew him as Bear as well, Seppy. Okay.
I am a infamous bear chaser, and that works on multiple levels. Yeah, infamous bear chaser.
Gotcha.
Yes, absolutely. So dice accessories. I like knitters who knit their individual dice little like sleeping bags and holders for that. My God. I've seen that. I'm like,
we have different display boxes, 2 dice trays, and our kitchen table has drawers that we use for rolling. It's actually supposed to be for storage.
That's amazing. That person is accessory. Nick, do you see this love for dice and dice things? Is this making your dice heart grow 10 times larger in size?
It's making me wonder if maybe I should be more into having 10,000 dice, because I am notorious for having Will Wheaton type dice rolls. I am the reason that we went to a point buy system after 2nd edition as our friend group. It was because they knew that I would just be all like, a 3, a 5, a 9, and a 6, and a 4, and they're like, yes, 9 is your best stat out of the fact, and that's after we changed it from 3 die 6 to 4 die 6 keep the best 3 to 5 die 6 keep the best 3, and that was still my stats. And then they're like, we're doing point buys from here on out.
That's amazing, Nick.
So maybe I just need to embrace the have more dice and
I believe that once upon a time, those dice were magical and you just drained all the magic from them and you kept on using them past their magic. And now they are cursed. You need to put them someplace where they are loved, put them under your pillow so that they are loved. They're capturing all those
Put
great
them in the
dreams.
moonlight.
Yeah, in the moonlight, put them in the moonlight for a while and then let another pair that has now got that fresh magic, right?
The dice know that you don't like them, so they refuse to roll well for you.
That also may be
Or
true.
roll 20. Roll 20. I mean, I do roll 20 now, so it's,
Oh, yeah, no, see, it doesn't matter. All virtual worlds hate me. Like it's definitely a thing.
Well, this stream is a virtual world and it does not hate you, Seppy.
Oh my god, wait till we add the dice feature to Zoom and then you'll see.
I have a dice feature for the stream where I can push a button and it rolls across the screen randomly.
What?
And I'm trying to figure out how to get it so the chat can redeem points to roll that dice.
Oh, that'd be amazing. I would love to do I had as an idea if we got stalled out, we were gonna make a game on stream and have it all play out with the chat.
Nice. We'll have to do that next, or we'll just have a special stream just for that.
Just for the ice cream based RPG.
Yes, the ice cream RPG.
Ice cream RPG.
I'm actually guys that don't know, Mark has been on stream here with us before. He's done an off the pod with us, and he's the GM for Mechanical Corners, and he's actually going to help me get my file set together so I can take the card game that I designed and have it on Tabletop Simulator to play test for everyone.
That's amazing.
So yeah, and then maybe next time that if I ever hang out with Seppy in the near future before that happens, maybe I'll bring that card game with and I can show it to Seppy and get your thoughts on it.
I would love to do that. You should come to Protospiel.
And I can't say living card game because I don't want to get in trouble.
That's right. You should either come to Protospiel or come to the Fight in a Box retreat when Mark is in town before Protospiel.
I don't even know what are these things? What are these things?
Protospiel is the first weekend of February this year. And it's a convention where people make games. And it's fantastic. I recommend that if people want to try our newest things.
Virtual board game playtesting convention?
It's not virtual.
That's what it says. Virtual. It says virtual on their website.
It's at Protospiel, Minnesota. It's Protospiel MN. And that's a live action real-time event.
Tabletop events.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't have an official website. They just have tabletop events.
Yeah, they do tabletop events. It's sad. But the event is great. You can see Jeff there. You can see myself there. Patrick comes and goes. Ben comes and goes. Yeah, it's good.
Awesome.
It's good.
Guys, go and check that out. Go and check out Seppy. Go and check out Fight in the Box. Check out all of the things. Thank you so much, Seppy, for joining us today. I appreciate you being here.
That's awesome.
It's been awesome. I want to let everybody know that tomorrow is not our normal stream time. Tomorrow we'll be here at noon Central Time. We're going to be doing paranormal news and sharing your paranormal stories. I'll be dressing up in some sort of costume, I don't know, for Halloween, and I'm going to just go through whatever. I have some paranormal news sites. I'm going to go on there, see what's on there. I'm going to read them to you. We're going to talk about them. That's going to be tomorrow at noon, paranormal news, and we'll share some of your spooky stories if you have it. So thank you so much. And they're yelling at me, read chat, damn it, read chat. Everybody's rolling virtual dice. Everybody's rolling virtual dice. I have a command called !die20, which rolls virtual dice. Roddy Baba says ID has an awesome castle tower for dice that he 3D printed, which is awesome. We also used dice for a game at our wedding where people clicked on the glass. We made the guests roll a die20 for results on a chart.
Nice.
The dice know you don't like them, so they refuse to roll well for you. And all the die20s. Die 20 rolls. Did you just confirm Seppy for the 7th, 8th, and 9th visit? Seppy returning for 8 total times now. It's confirmed.
I'm here for it. I'm here. I like being a quarterly phenomenon here on the Epic Realms. Like, yeah.
Well, and I know we're also planning to do another Mechanical Corners down the road because Danny from Sovereignty is going to join us for that, and we just haven't set a date or figured out who else we're going to have on or what we're going to do or any of that kind of stuff. But I know that is also on the docket down the road too. So
Mark is such a welcoming and supportive.
I'm still waiting for the physical copy of that book to come out, of the Mechanical Corners book to come out.
RPG. We might do that during Zine Quest one year. Say, hey, this is RPG is done. It's great. People played it. It was part of the Mouse Cheese. We'll make a printed version if we blah.
I want
that is on the list.
I want a hardcover, printed, fully illustrated.
It's fully illustrated. You have
30. I have a digital copy.
You have a digital copy, and you also have an art novella, right, Nick?
No.
You never got a copy of the art novella?
No,
oh my god,
I didn't. Because you only have these are the only 5 we have left ever in history.
It's true. We have only that many left.
And Bentley says I love Mouse Cheese Cat Cucumber. I love Mouse Cheese Cat Cucumber too. That's my favorite of your guys' games.
All right, so in Mouse Cat Cheese Cucumber, it's getting localized to China, and it's called Pickled Cheese Cat Mouse. And in Chinese, they shorten it to 2 words, and they refer to things by their internal nickname. So if you've ever seen The Killer, did you ever see the John Woo movie, The Killer?
No.
Okay. The movie is great. It's one of John Woo's greatest movie, if not his best movie. You can see all the stuff that the Matrix ends up all this stuff ends up happening in John Woo from Hong Kong, but the characters call each other Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse. And in Chinese, that's an acceptable nickname. And you could still have a serious movie about assassins and policemen doing this thing. So guess what the nickname for Mouse Cheese Cat Cucumber is in Chinese?
Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck?
Yogurt Cat. So they refer to in the rule book, the Chinese rule book, when they refer to the game as itself, they refer to it as Yogurt Cat.
I don't.
What you don't know what to do.
What
great. The localization is a whole topic that we could do. Yeah.
And
we're
10th,
excited.
and 10th episode, and 10th. 7th, 8th, 9th, and now 10th episode, guys.
Localization is interesting. Our games are language agnostic, and how that translates to other cultures. They had to make it. We asked them why they changed the order, and they're like, well, there's not a real good word for cheese in Chinese, and to make it sound not weird, this is the best sounding version of this. And they don't call him Kaiser Cucumber, which makes us sad. They call him Caesar.
Sad.
They call him Caesar Pickle.
Caesar, not Kaiser.
No, it's Caesar Pickle. Caesar Pickle. Caesar Pickle. That's the thing. So our ice cream RPG is either going to obviously got to be post-apocalyptic or Western, and we'll call it 2 Scoops Before Dawn. Who's up for 2 Scoops Before Dawn? And yeah.
Is that going to be a zombie game as well?
Well, that's also talks about my walking at 7 a.m. to get
brunch. Brunch, people, not breakfast. Brunch.
Ice cream brunch, yeah.
Brunch,
yeah.
not breakfast. Not breakfast at 7 a.m.
2 scoops Before Dawn. Yeah. The Rootin' Tootin'.
Is that the game you were going to want to design today?
Yeah, the Rootin' Tootin'. No, the Tutti Frutti Rocky Roadiest adventure in the ice cream verse.
Wow. Ridiculous. All right, before we go, guys, again, tomorrow the paranormal show, and then Wednesday starts Movember. Movember is a great charity. We're going to be doing it all month long. We have a great team for our team Movember, so use any of them to do your support. Help them out in their charity. It's great. Testicular cancer, prostate cancer, mental health awareness, suicide prevention. They do so many good things. So that's going to start on
what are the
Wednesday.
rules promoting?
It's whatever you want, man. As long as you promote and you help raise awareness, you do whatever you want. Traditionally is you shave your face and then you shave your face, and then on November 1st you start growing your mustache. And that's what I've been doing for years. This year I'm going to shave except for what I have for a mustache, and I'm just going to grow it so I can get the snidely whiplash, the little curly Q. I'm going to do that this year. So
that's fantastic.
So that's one of the things that I'm going to do. But everybody's doing it differently. We've got, and I know I'm going to miss somebody. We've got Bentley 13 is part of the team. Octavius is part of the team. Yar. Thank you, Octavius, so much for the Epic is a Pirate alert. Yeah, Bentley's on the team. Octavius is on the team. Ash Husky is on the team. We've got Blue Devils Gamer is on the team. We've got Wino FGC is on the team. I think we've got like 8 people. Pixel Nix is going to be on the team. Steven the Shark is going to be on the team. We've got a whole crew of people. We've got an amazing team. A Dash of Nerd. Thank you, Bentley. A Dash of Nerd is going to be on the team. So we've got an amazing group of people. Roddy Mama is on the team. Thank you, Roddy Mama is on the team. Of course, how did I forget one of my own mods, for crying out loud?
I love all these names. These are the people I want in my gang.
Right? All of these people are on the Movember team, helping raise funds for a good cause. Feel free to support any of them, and that starts on Wednesday, and it goes through the entire month of November. So, guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for supporting all of them and me and Movember this coming month. I appreciate all of that. Thanks for the raids from King Iden, Dungeon Scrawlers. Thanks for everybody who donated or subbed today, gave a subscription. And thanks for anybody who went and checked out fightingabox.com or their Instagram or their TikTok. Dude, Seppy does a live stream on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, go follow Fight in a Box to watch his live streams where he has awesome, amazing guests on there.
Aw, you noticed.
Eventually that will happen one of these days, maybe.
We're going to have to make that happen soon.
Might have to make that. Although I have no idea what I would talk about. I have nothing to talk about.
We'll talk all ASMR. That'll be fantastic. We'll talk about mustache.
We'll talk about the mustaches right there on Seppy Yoon's stream on TikTok.
We'll talk about gaming charities.
And gaming charities. There we go. So, guys, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the paranormal show, and we appreciate. I've been on that show 6 times already. Epic Realms. Damn it! Seppy Yoon and Octavius have been on. Oh, you're not even on TikTok. What are you talking about? We just told Octavius, you know you're on TikTok. I'm on TikTok. Yes. What? How do you not know you're on TikTok? For crying out loud.
That's the thing. That's fantastic. Nick, again, thanks for having me on, and thanks. The stream is fantastic. I love your people.
My people love you, so thank you for being here. And we'll have to make sure to figure out 7, 8, 9, and 10 coming up down the road. We'll just keep you about 12 ahead of Octavius. That's all we need to do.
Two scoops before dawn.
2 scoops before dawn. Dun, dun,
2 scoops. 2 scoops before dawn.
We're gonna raid on out. There's so many people on today. We're going to raid our good friend Dilly Doe. He's doing an art stream. He's doing a creation stream. He's doing some airbrushing. I have no idea what he's airbrushing, so we're going to go find out what he is doing. A diorama painting, opening Pokemon packs, and so many other things. He's an amazing streamer. He's a lot of fun. And so we're going to go check out Dilly the Doe. He's been a friend of mine since day one. He's been following the stream since the very beginning and a great supporter. So we're going to go check him out, guys. Use your raid emotes, use my raid emotes, use anybody's raid emotes. Just make sure you make your voice known. And for Seppy Yoon, I am Nick, and thank you for listening to Off the Pod. Have a good one, guys, and take care.